Okay, okay. Yo, what's up? And shit. Hi, everyone! No, okay, I'm gonna stop doing that. But yeah, hi, everyone. Thomas, Maple, anyone else is going to join. Let me just announce this on Discord really fast. Ooh, those are some classics. Right, Tin Man? You saw my Discord announcement? Yay! About the movies I just got. But anyway. I didn't watch the rest of last night's stream. Where are we at right now? We're on Twilight Princess. Oh man. Oh, I cannot wait to both praise and rip into that game. It's like I have a love-hate relationship with it. So it's like I like it, but at the same time I want to rip it apart. But yeah, let me start. Actually, let me not bother recording. I don't want my computer to explode again. But yeah, hi everyone. I am Timberler15 and welcome to my rant stream of the 3D Legend of Zelda games, Part 2. So today we're going to do Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and Breath of the Wild. Okay, let's do that. Alright, where's the... Okay. So... Twilight Princess. Okay, I'm just going to start with the negatives. I'm just going to start with the negatives. Might as well. Okay, where do I start? Oh, man. Alright. Okay. So, before I begin, let me just, like... Oh, you wrote an article about Sonic Frontiers? About how I can either make or break the Sonic franchise? Oh, I think I'll give it a read. A read, I will give it. I will give it to read. So, Twilight Princess. Okay. So, the game was released in 2006 for both the Wii and the GameCube. And that's really all I can say about it. Okay, so the game, like, it has a very different art style from Wind Waker's. Wind Waker's art style was, cartoony and light, and this art style is very dark, and it's darker and grittier. The game itself isn't dark, though. I refuse to call it that. It's not dark. It thinks it's dark, but it's not. No, it's just not. Sorry. Like, this game doesn't have a dark atmosphere. Majora's Mask had a darker atmosphere. This game wishes it were dark. It's not. I refuse to believe it. No, that stupid cutscene of Link imagining a bunch of Ilias. Ilia, his friend. A bunch of Ilias, like, falling down from the sky, like, upside down, just creepily laughing. That's not dark. That's just stupid. This game is not dark. I refuse to call it that. I guess I just talked about a negative, technically. Like, the game tries to be dark, but it's not. It's just not. Sorry. I refuse to believe it. Starting with the negatives? Damn. Ha! Right? Let's see. The game thinks it's dark, but it's not. I'm sorry, but it's just not. Like... it's just not. Like, Majora's Mask was darker. It was darker in tone. This tries to be dark. It genuinely tries, but fails. Because really, I mean, it's more serious than Wind Waker, and even more serious than Ocarina of Time. Okay, well, probably not more serious than Ocarina of Time. But, like, it's still not very serious. Like, sorry, I just don't think it is. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's a little, like, a little dark, sure, you could say that. It's darker than Wind Waker. Not, that's it, though. That's it. That's it. Yeah, I wish they had ported this game to the Switch, too. And that would have been nice. I'm still waiting for them to do that. They haven't done it. I want them to do that to Wind Waker, too. So, yeah, sorry. I just think Twilight Princess, it could have had a darker tone. It tries to, like, the game was, I think the game was marketed to have a really dark tone, but it just doesn't for the most part. Sorry. It's darker than Wind Waker, but not by a whole lot. Anyway, let's see. What else can I say about this game that annoys the hell out of me? The Tears of Light segments. They sucked. They just suck. They suck. They suck. Like, they're just, they did not need to be as long as they were. Like, I get that they make sense for story related reasons, but they were just, they just did not need to take as long as they did. Like, they just felt like a chore. Although, to be fair, the remaster on the Wii U, you know, the console that nobody cares about, it's like it reduced the number of Tears of Lights you had to collect. So instead of 16 Tears of Light, you got to collect only 12. And I'm just like, or you could just like either take out the segments or reduce them by more. Like, you could have done like 8 Tears of Light. Like 12? No, ew. 12 is not enough. Fuck that shit. 12 isn't enough. 12 is not enough. Screw that shit. They just, like, these are just kind of time wasters. And this game has quite a number of time wasters. The lightning bug boss was stupid too. Yeah, it was. It was stupid. Yeah, and these Tears of Light segments are also quite frustrating. I was actually stuck on one of them. Granted, it was the very last one, but I was stuck on one of them because it was like in some part of Hyrule's town, like the castle town, and you can't like get to that one unless you collected all the others. I think it was annoying to find. Like, it's a tedious, frustrating thing. Like, some of these are really hard to find, and it's just annoying. I'm like, why do I have to do this? Like, why can't I just, like, why do I have to go and hunt down all these Tears of Light? It's just tedious and frustrating. Last year was your 5th anniversary on YouTube? Oh, cool. Okay. So, another thing. But yeah, the Tears of Light segments didn't need to be a thing. And speaking of pointless side quests, you also have that stupid... What the hell? Okay, there we go. Sorry, I thought my caps lock key wasn't working for a moment. Like, but whatever. Anyway, the quest. Well, what's that quest called? The one where you have to like fill, like, you know, do a bunch of shit, like fill the letters of a book or whatever before you get to the Sky Temple. I forgot what that one was called. Let me look it up really fast because fuck that side quest. In Search of the Sky. I'm guessing that's what it's called. I'm just going to call it In Search of the Sky. And that's what Zelda Dungeon calls it, so whatever. It's pointless filler. That side quest can fuck off. Like, but that side quest just really pisses me off. Actually, you know what? I could explain it, but I found a post online that explains it even better than I can. So here, let me go and bring it up really fast. Let me see if I can find it. Because it's such a good post. I want to read it because it explains so many all the problems I had with that side quest. So, let me... Where is it? Okay. So, let me just open a new tab. So, this was from someone's Tumblr. Okay. So, let's see. I might as well read the whole thing though, because he's also slammed Skyward Sword, but he hasn't played it because he just doesn't want to touch it because he thinks it has the same problem that Twilight Princess has, pointless filler, and it does. But let me just go ahead and read this for context. I recall you earlier discussing how you disliked Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess. I can understand dislike for either as they're not perfect, but I still thoroughly enjoyed myself by the end of both games. Same here. I, for one, didn't care for the incense and backtracking in Skyward Sword, which felt rather not Zelda-like. Now that I don't agree with. I'm not, I'm saying that, I cared for it. That's what I meant. I'm not saying he's wrong or whatever. The swordplay was fantastic, though. No, that I disagree with, but anyway. And I'd love to see more strategy like that than flailing the sword or mashing a button. What about them didn't you like, per se? I'm rather curious. Okay, now let's read this guy's response. The one who owns this Tumblr profile. For those of you out there who have not finished Twilight Princess and would like to avoid spoilers for whatever reason, this is your warning. The spoilers aren't until way further down this post, but don't blame me if you read something you didn't want to know. Well, I haven't played Skyward Sword, but based on what friends have told me in that video review I linked, and that video review is by someone named Matthew Matosis. I'm sure you guys have probably heard of him. He has really good Zelda reviews. It sounds as though I can safely skip the game because it continues the downward trend I feel that Twilight Princess really brought to light. Twilight Princess was a tedious game with very little identity. It felt like they took the traditional Zelda structure of the game, being a string of dungeons with a little bit of travel in between, and tried to flesh things out more. I constantly felt like I knew exactly where to go and what to do, but the game was stalling me at every turn. Before heading to the next dungeon, I would always have to engage in some pointless side quests that never really felt like they were teaching me anything, nor were they challenging me on anything I knew. They just existed to waste my time. In this unfinished review I started writing, I mentioned something like this at the start of the game. An unnecessarily long sequence of events you have to go through to get an absolutely worthless slingshot that is immediately replaced with much better weapons. But there are other examples of it too. I'll talk about that in a moment. That's what he's talking about, the tutorial of Twilight Princess, sorry. He's talking about the tutorial of Twilight Princess, and I'll talk about that too, because that was a pretty stupid sequence as well. But that's not the sequence I want to talk about. So this is the one. So what I'm going to read, this is the one that I have. This is the sequence of the game that I have issues with. So anyway, near the end of the game, you have to get into a sky temple. All signs point to the fact you need to use the Dominion Rod to get there somehow. But before you can do that, you're forced to deal with the dangling plot thread of restoring Ilia's memory. First, you have to take a letter from Kakariko Village to Telma's bar, where Telma tells you to go see the local doctor, and the doctor sends you on the fetch quest to reclaim a statue that belonged to Ilia. As it turns out, some skeletons stole the statue, and skeletons only come out at night, so you have to go to the appropriate place where these skeletons are and wait for the sun to go down. Sun goes down, skeletons come out, they're handily beaten, and the statue basically falls out of nowhere, and you go collect it. But instead of restoring all of Ilia's memory, it only restores part of it, and you're pointed towards a new location, the abandoned town. Let me zoom in on this. I think you guys might not be able to see this just fine. Let me just zoom in on this. The stream's buffering for you? Shouldn't be. My internet's actually not fucking up today. Okay, that's better. Let's see. Instead of restoring all of Ilya's memory, it only restores a part of it. And you're pointed towards a new location. The abandoned town. Here you're meant to snipe at Bulblins before they snipe you, but you can also just run around and hit them with your sword. Yeah, on that sequence, you don't really need to be stealthy. The game implies that you need to, but you don't actually have to. This saves Impasse, the old woman who took Ilya, who found Ilya and took care of her before she turned up in Kakariko Village. Impasse gives you Ilya's horse whistle, which finally restores all of Ilya's memory. She then passes the horse whistle on to you, which is basically worthless at this point in the game, given that by the time you get Epona, you can already warp around everywhere with Midna. There was maybe a grand total of twice in all of Twilight Princess I ever needed to call my horse to me, and they were about 10 to 15 hours before you get the whistle. Now, that's also another complaint I will address later. This game has a number of issues, if you don't already know. With that out of the way, you'd think you could finally move on to the next dungeon, but no. Instead, you have to go all the way back to Impasse once again because she has a book she forgot to give you. And, by the way, you can't use Midna to teleport to the abandoned town either. Yeah, for some stupid reason you can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. Once you get the book, you have to show it to Shad, who sends you on another, much longer fetch quest across all of Hyrule Field to find owl statues and restore power to the Dominion Rod. Once the rod is powered up, you return to Shad and discover a broken down cannon that needs to be repaired. So you take it to the one guy who's mysteriously had a completely unusable repair cannon dialogue option this entire game, spend the 300 rupees and get the cannon fixed, which can now finally send you to the Sky Temple. And it took only 2.5 hours. What purpose does any of this serve? Little about it is challenging. The characters aren't fleshed out enough for me to really care too much about Ilya's plight nor Impasse. I already know how the Dominion Rod works because I just came from a dungeon where the solution to just about every puzzle was to use the rod on it. And sequences like that literally make up nearly half of Twilight Princess, scenes that aren't exciting to play and involve characters that aren't interesting. It's like Nintendo was trying to do something heavily scripted and highly story-driven but had no idea why any of those things would be cool. Twilight Princess took me 75 hours to finish. You can knock a good 10 hours off of that for all the times I let the game sit on the item menu while I browse the internet or whatever, but that still means Twilight Princess was 60 to 65 hours of slow, tedious, boring gameplay. 60 to 65 hours and I didn't even 100% the game. The above sequence for restoring Ilya's memory would be even longer if you count a minigame where you can participate in, where you find stray cats in the abandoned town in order to get a heart piece you'll never need. And the ending. Let's talk about the ending. Ganon possessing Zelda seems like it could have been a cool idea, except to my recollection, it's the same tennis volley boss fight they've had since Aghanim in Link to the Past. I might have just butchered his name, but whatever. Same crap, different smell. And then you fight Ganon himself, who is magically portrayed as being completely invincible for some reason. He presumably kills Midna off-screen, such a heroic and dramatic death for literally the only character with any real development. And then you fight him in what is literally just the exact same Dark Nut sword fight you've had before, except Ganon blocks a little more frequently. And the Sorry. I hope you all can hear me now, right? Sorry, I was just about to finish that last paragraph, so let me go ahead and just do that. Oh, what else was I gonna say? Someone said something in the chat just now. Let me see. Okay. The animation for Ocarina of Time is about as dated as the first Ice Age movie. Yes, very true. Okay. That's true. Very true. Okay, let me continue. Let me finish this paragraph. And the stupid reskinned Dark Nut fight is the big amazing crescendo. Excuse me. The big amazing crescendo of Twilight Princess. But Ganon's invincible, right? You just killed him twice and he still came back to life. Surely that means that if you win this Dark Nut Ganon fight, he's just going to revive again and... Oh, wait. His invincibility conveniently wore off at exactly the right time, so now he's actually dead for real now. That sure was lucky and completely unexplained. And Midna's also not actually dead now. Wow! Blech. Skyward Sword just seems like more of that kind of junk. An interest in building an extended narrative without any actual understanding of what makes a compelling story, and gameplay that stretches itself too thinly for the sake of padding the game out to longer than necessary. I'm not so hard up for a new Zelda game that I feel like subjecting myself to that right now. If I get the Zelda itch, I'll probably just install that PC copy of Darksiders I bought nearly 2 years ago, or pick up Ocarina of Time 3D. So yeah, he actually commented on a number of things wrong with the game, but yeah, that's basically how I feel about Twilight Princess. That side quest in Twilight Princess. So wait, let me go back. So yeah, this whole In Search of the City side quest was just pointless filler. Like, part of it involves restoring Ilya's memory, part of it involves going around Hyrule and hunting statues that you have to move with the Dominion Rod to get letters to fill some word or sentence in a book. And then once you do all that stupid crap, you finally get to go to the Sky Temple. And I'm just like, why is this entire sequence in this game? It is a time waster. Because if you guys remember, like, when I was streaming Twilight Princess, like, I had just finished a dungeon, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now I get to go to the Sky Temple now. But then I forgot, and it had been a long time since I last played the game. I forgot that, you know, you need to go and do a few side quests first. And I was just like, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? But I was like, okay, let me just go and get this done really fast. But no, it turns out that the side quests were that side quest you had to do was just so fucking long, and it was pointless. Like, restoring Ilya's memory wasn't enough? No, we had to go and do a bunch of other fetch quests, and it was just stupid. Like, it's just filler at this point. Why can't I just go right to the Sky Temple? Why do I have to do a bunch of crap first? Like, I don't like games that waste my time like that. It's just so frustrating. And Skyward Sword also has this problem too, but I'll get to that later. And not just that, but the tutorial was stupid. It was stupid. I'm sorry, it's just stupid. Because, again, it's the same issue as the In Search of the City side quest, where you have to do a whole bunch of things for no reason other than busy work. And I'm just like, why do I have to do all these things just so I could get the game started? It's like, oh, you have to go and fish for this stupid fish so that the cat will return home so that the shopkeeper can actually do her goddamn job of selling you a slingshot, which you're not ever actually going to need. And I'm just like, why do I have to do all this? Why am I doing all of this? This game just likes to waste your time. Why are you wasting my time? Why can't I just... Like, Wind Waker did not have this issue. You got your sword pretty early. Ocarina of Time did not have this issue. You got your sword pretty early. Granted, in Majora's Mask, you couldn't get your sword just yet, but there was actually a reason for it. So, like, with Twilight Princess, it's like, we're not going to give you the sword just yet because... Just because. Okay. Yeah, okay. Stop. Just stop. Stop. Just stop. God. And I'm trying to remember. There was something else I was going to say. Let me keep my tenses consistent. Okay. And so you have the Tears of Light segments. They suck because they waste your time. The tutorial sucks because it wastes your time. The In Search of City side quest sucks because it wastes your time. A lot of time wasting in this game. Although it's not as bad as, say, Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword actually manages to be worse about that. I know. If you thought Twilight Princess's filler was bad, oh, you have not played Skyward Sword, fam. You have not played Skyward Sword. You have not played Skyward Sword. But yeah, Twilight Princess just has a problem with filler. Granted, the Wind Waker had a problem with filler, but it was not nearly as bad. It was really just towards the end of the game where you had to do a bunch of stupid fetch quests. But Twilight Princess, that shit starts as early as the beginning, and it's just really irritating. And another thing that I need to point out is Ilia. You know Ilia, Link's, I keep calling her Link's girlfriend. Not even close. Link's childhood friend. Ilia, Link's childhood friend, was a waste of a character. She was a waste of a character because see, she was shown early in the game. She was introduced early, and then she ends up being kidnapped. And then the game forgets about her for a very long time, and then conveniently remembers her near the end, and especially at a time where you have to like help her out just to help yourself out. So it's not like you're helping her out for her sake. Like you're not helping her out just to help her out. You're helping her out because you also need to progress through the game, which says a lot about how irrelevant she is. And then that's it. So it's like the game remembers her at the beginning and at the end, but for a large part of the game in the middle, she's completely forgotten about. And that's really fucking sad, because you would think that Link, you think that she'd be a lot more important in the game because she was Link's childhood friend, but she's just there. She's just there. Like, no joke, most people playing this game will forget about her, will have forgotten about her by the time they have to go and get to the Sky Temple. Like, I literally forgot about her when I was playing this game. I forgot about her at one point, and then the game brought her up again, and I was like, oh yeah, she was a thing. Oh yeah, she existed. I completely forgot about that. Which is sad, because Ilia could have been an interesting character, but the story didn't care for her, so I don't see why I should. I'm sorry. She was just pointless. Now, Zelda from Skyward Sword is basically what Ilia could have been. She was what Ilia could have been. So I guess Nintendo learned from this. But regarding Twilight Princess, Ilia was a pointless ass character. She at one point loses her memory, but you honestly can't be bothered to care because like the game completely forgot about her and didn't bother to flesh her out enough. Even fucking Colin, sorry, his name is Colin. Even fucking Colin, one of the children from Ordon Village, even he had more development than she did. And he barely had any. Like, how, that's so sad. I just, like, how? Like, hell, even the other Ordon children had more screen time than Ilia did. Like, how does that happen? How is this bitch so irrelevant? Like, I thought you were Link's friend. I guess not. I don't know, like, you just have no reason to be there. Yeah, exactly. The kid who wanted to be a knight like his father, Colin, that was his name. Even he had more development than Ilia. That's so fucking sad. And you know what? The thing is that you also at one point have to help him out too, like save him from a bunch of bad guys. But you don't do it because you need to progress through the game. You do it because you care about him, and literally the entire story stops just so you can go and save him. Just so you can go and save him. And later he actually tries to do some. Oh, but just before that, he actually does something brave. So, yeah, like. It's sad because the story treated him better than they treated Ilia, even though Ilia was seemingly the more important character. It's just I don't know, like that's just really fucking sad. Ilia was just a non-character to me. She was irrelevant. Oh, thank you, Scott. Yeah, good job. Thank you for getting rid of that annoying bot. So yeah, Ilia is just a waste of a character. Sorry, not sorry. Let's see, what else? Oh, okay. So, another problem that I had with the game was the fact that it is too similar to Twilight Princess. The game is too... I said Twilight Princess. I meant Ocarina of Time. Wow. The game is too similar to Ocarina of Time. I'm sorry, it's just too fucking similar. Like, when I played the game, I felt that I was playing Ocarina of Time all over again. That's not a good thing. I know some people think that it's a good thing. It's not. Because if I wanted to play Ocarina of Time again, I would have just played Ocarina of Time again. Twilight Princess isn't... That's the thing. It has no identity of its own. As the review that Tumblr review I read rightfully pointed out, Twilight Princess has no identity of its own. It doesn't. It doesn't feel like any new Zelda game. Wind Waker had an identity. Majora's Mask had an identity. Even Skyward Sword, as bad as it was, had an identity. Twilight Princess doesn't have one. It's just Ocarina of Time with a different coat of paint, for the most part. Now, there was actually one thing they had that could have made it stand out from Ocarina of Time, and that was the Twilight Realm, but that was heavily underutilized, and that's also another negative, but I will get to that in a moment. Twilight Princess is just... It's like it's trying so hard to be like Ocarina of Time, and I'm just like, why? Why can't you just be your own thing? Why do you have to try so hard to be a game that came before you? And I know some people are going to say, oh, well, A Link to the Past, and I'm sorry, no. A lot of people will say, Ocarina of Time and A Link Between Worlds, they were just like A Link to the Past, yeah, but they were different enough. They were still unique. They didn't feel like retreads of A Link to the Past. They didn't. They actually went and brought a new spin on things. Twilight Princess does not innovate at all. Unlike those games, Twilight Princess did not innovate. It didn't. It didn't do anything new. It didn't. Every other Zelda game did something new. Twilight Princess didn't. And I'm just like, why? Like, it's a good game, don't get me wrong. It's actually probably the most polished Zelda game. If you exclude Breath of the Wild, Twilight Princess is probably the most polished 3D Zelda game out there. But you feel as though you've played it before. As one reviewer put it, Matthew Matosis to be exact. Twilight Princess is a good game, but it feels like you've played it before. Like, I feel like Nintendo was just I feel like Nintendo was overcorrecting for the backlash that Wind Waker received. Well, not necessarily backlash, just criticism that you know, people thought Wind Waker was just, you know, maybe too different, like too radical or whatever, and they thought, okay, well, let's make the next game more like Ocarina of Time. Everyone liked Ocarina of Time, right? Let's just do that. And you get Twilight Princess. And I'm just like, no, Nintendo, I don't think that's what people meant. So, yeah. Oh, shut up, you two. I was just having a brain fart. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I meant Ocarina of Time. I said Twilight Princess. This Twilight Princess is too similar to Twilight Princess. No, I meant Ocarina of Time. But yeah, Ocarina of Time basically doesn't... I mean, Twilight Princess. I need sleep. Twilight Princess doesn't try to do anything different from Ocarina of Time other than the Twilight Realm, which brings me to my next point. The Twilight Realm was heavily underutilized. Like, it seemed like such an interesting concept. Another world that completely embraced the darkness. That sounded really cool, but the game wasted it. Like, you don't even spend that long in it. And it's sad. Oops, I can't spell today. Oh, what the hell? For fuck's sake. Why does that keep happening? Okay. I meant under the explored. Well, both, really. Unexplored. Was largely unexplored. The Twilight Realm was largely unexplored. Like, we don't spend that long in it. Except for during the Tears of Light segments, you do get to be in the Twilight Realm, but it's technically not entirely the Twilight Realm, because like it's basically your world but with Twilight all over it. And then towards the end of the game, you actually do get to go into the Twilight Realm, and there's a cool dungeon, and you get a cool power up for your sword. And that's it. You don't come back. And I'm like, this is the only time where we actually genuinely get to explore the Twilight Realm, and it doesn't even last all that long. And I'm just like, why? Just why? Like, this is the one thing that could have made Twilight Princess stand out from Ocarina of Time. But that didn't happen. And I'm just wondering why. Like, it was such an interesting concept, yet it went absolutely nowhere. Yeah, exactly. Like if you know what you're doing, you can beat that area in like 30 minutes, or 60 if you really want to take your time and explore everything. The first missing texture in Breath of the Wild. Whoa, Breath of the Wild. Whoa, I did not even know that. Huh. But yeah, the Twilight Realm should have been used a lot more. Okay, another thing. There was one more thing I wanted to comment on. What was it? Oh yeah, the slingshot. Why is that in this game? Why was that in this game? But like, why was the slingshot in the game? You don't need to use it. You don't really need to use it. And so I bet some people will be like, oh, well, I mean, if you're low on arrows, then you can use it. Yeah, but when will you ever be low on arrows? Especially when you upgrade your quiver size. Like, I almost never ran out of arrows in the game. I almost never ran out of arrows. So, like, I never needed the slingshot. Why is it in this game? Why is it in this game? They could have just given you the bow right away. That's what Majora's Mask does. At least I think it did, because you don't get the slingshot in that game. And in Wind Waker, you don't even get the slingshot at all. You just get a bow. So I don't know why the slingshot's in this game. They could have just taken it out. At least with Ocarina of Time, it made sense because, you know, apparently Child Link couldn't use a bow, but Adult Link could. So it made sense for the slingshot to be in that game. But for this game, there's really no point. It didn't need to be here. And plus, it's a lot less effective than the bow anyway. So, what's the point? Yeah, because reasons. Yeah, like if you're like bored out of your mind, then I guess the slingshot does have some utility. But really, it's just very weak, and it doesn't, and the projectiles don't fly as far as the bow, the arrows. So it's like, what's the point? If you're bored, sure, go ahead and use it, but it's not like you're going to need to use it. So really, the slingshot should not have been in the game. If they wanted to teach you target practice, they could have just waited until later when you got the bow. Anything else I have problems with in this game? Okay, this is one thing. I just remembered one thing that really pissed me off about this game when I was doing the side quests, and there is no reason for this. This game has no way to alter the day and night cycle. Why? Like, why? Why doesn't this game give you an option to skip to nighttime or to daytime? Why the fuck doesn't it have this when every other 3D Zelda game has it? Ocarina of Time had it. Majora's Mask had it. Wind Waker had it. Skyward Sword had it. Breath of the Wild even has it. Why the fuck does this game not have it? Why? Because, like, there's this one quest where you get to hunt down a bunch of ghosts in order to turn this man back to human, because he had been turned to gold. And I hated having to sit there and wait for the sun to go down. And I also hated having to, like, be in the middle of catching a ghost only for it to disappear because the sun came up at the wrong time. And not to mention that there are certain monsters that come out at night, and I just don't really feel like dealing with them when I'm just trying to get from one location to the next. So having a way to change the day and night cycle would have been great. But Twilight Princess, for some reason, doesn't have it, even though there's a side quest that depends on the time of day. It makes no fucking sense. Why? Like, it's so irritating. I'm like, why doesn't this game have it when even Ocarina of Time had it? This was a thing that goes back to the very first 3D Zelda game, Ocarina of Time. Literally every other Zelda game, every other 3D Zelda game has this. It has a way to change the time. But Twilight Princess doesn't. Twilight Princess. Why the fuck doesn't it have it? Even the HD remaster doesn't fix this. It doesn't fix this issue. I don't think it does. I don't think it does. Like seriously. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, that just annoyed the hell out of me. I'm just like, I don't want to have to sit here and wait for nighttime to come, or for the sun to go up, for the moon to go down, for the sun to come up. Like, I don't need that. God. Like, how do you not have an option to change the time of day when even the very first 3D Zelda game had it? It makes no sense. What the hell, Nintendo? God. That's like when someone took away the whole getting 100 rings gives you an extra life thing. That's supposed to be a staple of the franchise. Yeah, I never understood that either. I just... Although I guess because, you know, lives are... That's kind of an outdated thing in games nowadays, so the concept of lives, I mean... So, I guess that's why. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But, even so, it was a staple of the franchise, so... I don't know, it was just something I found weird about certain Sonic games, that they just took that out. Because I personally didn't mind the concept of lives. But, I guess that's just me. But yeah, there's literally no reason to alter, not to have a way to change the time of day when there's a side quest that depends on the time of day. I don't know. I don't know. Like, Nintendo took 2 steps backwards with this one. 2 steps backwards. 2 giant, monster-sized steps backwards. God. Yeah, I have a lot of issues with Twilight Princess. Don't get me wrong, I like the game. I actually do like the game. But it has a crap ton of issues that I just can't stand. And there's another issue I have with this game. I forgot what it was, though. Shit. Okay. What was it? Damn. Shit. I forgot what it was. What was it? Damn. Maybe looking at this Tumblr thing. Let me look at this again. Cause maybe I'll remember if I look. Oh yeah, there's one thing. So the horse whistle. Oop, my bad. The horse whistle was a pointless item. You get it near the end of the game. And I don't know why. Like, I'm like, this item could have been useful a lot earlier in the game. Like, why are you giving it to me just now, game? Like, why are you giving this item to me now? You get it after you do the whole quest to get into Sky Temple, the Sky Temple. And Ilia gives you the horse whistle, which lets you call Epona from anywhere. And I'm like, I'm almost done with the game. Why are you giving this to me just now? And plus, you don't even need Epona that much, because you can just warp everywhere. And I'm just like, Like, well, like seriously, what's the point? Why are you giving me this item? You should have given this to me earlier. You could have given it to me earlier. You didn't. Like, I don't, like, seriously, what was the point of giving me the horse whistle? It might as well not have existed. Like, seriously, I'm like, it's too late, game. I'm already almost done, and I don't even need Epona that much. I didn't even need Epona that much. So it's like, why are you giving it to me? I don't know. I don't know. Like, Twilight Princess has just some weird pacing issues. I don't remember this at all. I don't blame you, Scott, because honestly, it's such a forgettable item. Oh, I have a horse whistle and I can call Epona now, except I'm almost done with the game. Great. Excellent. Thanks. It's like, what's the point? Like, goddamn. And another thing I don't like about this game, I'm sorry, I know, I just keep going and going and going and going and going, but I'm sorry, this game has a number of issues. Like, it's the most polished, but at the same time, it has a crap ton of issues. And it's less to do with the gameplay itself. The gameplay itself is solidly designed. It's just like everything around it that's the issue. You know, kind of like Shadow the Hedgehog, where, you know, you had issues with the structure of the game. It's kind of like that here. Well, less about structure, more about just general design. Level design, or whatever. Yeah, Twilight Princess has a number of issues. Another thing that bothered me was the wolf form. You know, you have a wolf form, remember? The wolf form had no finishing move outside of ghosts, outside of fighting ghosts. That really annoyed me. Like, because I actually like using the wolf. I actually liked using the wolf form. I liked actually fighting enemies with it. But you knock them down, and you have no way to finish them. Like, you literally just have to wait for them to get back up. You knock them down, and you just sit there, and wait for them to get back up, and then you knock them down again, you sit there, and wait for them to get back up, and then it keeps repeating until you finally kill them. I'm like, why doesn't the wolf have a way to finish off the enemies? Like, why? Why? Just why? Like, it makes no fucking sense. And I don't care if some people are going to say, oh, well, the wolf form, like, giving to the finisher probably would have been too dark or bloody or shit. I don't care. This game was supposed to be dark anyway. I don't give a fuck. You don't have to put blood in it. Just have Link, like, all Link just has to do is bite into the enemy and that's it. Literally, you don't have to, like, make it graphic. But no, apparently Link only has a finisher for ghosts, but not for regular enemies. Like, even the finisher for ghosts doesn't look all that graphic. They could have just use that for enemies in general. I don't know, like, why this game likes to waste your time. That's the problem with Twilight Princess. It likes to waste your time. It keeps wasting your time. It, like, literally, several of the points on this list are the result, like, they literally result in wasted time. Tedious Tears of Light segments, waste of time. That stupid side quest to get to the Sky Temple, waste of time. The tutorial, waste of time. No day or night cycle changing, waste of time. No finishing move for the wolf, waste of time. Like, Nintendo, what were you doing when you made this game? What were you doing? Like, why didn't you give the wolf a finisher? A universal finisher? All you had to... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm done. I'm so done with this shit. You've always used the grass whistles? Yeah, right? Like, the game has grass whistles anyway. So it's like, that makes a horse whistle even less useful? Although, to be fair, you won't find the grass whistles everywhere. But still, it's like... the horse whistles are... I mean, you can find them, and you can generally find them pretty easily. Although there's some places where they're just not accessible. But it's like... Really, you could have given me the horse whistle earlier, but you didn't. But gee, this game would be too bloody and stuff. Yeah, well, who cares? I thought the game was dark. Apparently I was wrong. See? See, like, the game's dark. Like, the game is supposed to be dark, but apparently it's not. Just as I said. Want to get to the positives now? Hold up. I'm trying to think if there are any other negatives, because I know I covered a lot. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. One more, and then we'll get to the positives. Just one more. And it's the one thing that pissed me off about this game the most. Don't play the Wii version. Do not play the Wii version. The Wii version is crap. It's crap. It sucks. I've played both the Wii version and the GameCube version. I own both. The Wii version sucks. It sucks. I'm sorry, it sucks. It sucks. I don't like it. I do not like it. And one thing I don't like about it that kills the game for me is the lack of camera control. And it makes me wonder why. I want camera control in the Zelda game. Give me camera control. I like taking in my surroundings with the second analog stick. But with the Wii version, you can't do that. You can't do that, and that constantly annoyed the hell out of me. I really did not like the Wii version. I enjoyed playing the GameCube version, but not the Wii version. And I don't care that the Wii version gives you 2 extra item slots. In the Twilight Princess version, the GameCube version, sorry. In the GameCube version, you have only 2 item slots. And in the Wii version, you have 4. But you can only use them with the B button. So if you have to have the item you want to use mapped to the B button before you can use it. But both systems had a quick equip change item thing, whatever. Like, it was a good system on both. But I don't care that the Wii version has 2 extra item slots. That's not enough for me. That's not enough to compensate for the lack of camera control. Because in Twilight Princess, here's the thing. You actually don't need to change out your items all that much. Like, 2 item slots is enough for you for most of the game. I rarely had to change out my items. Like, I didn't have to that much. Compared to Wind Waker, where you had to do it constantly. And it felt like 3 item slots wasn't enough. But with Twilight Princess, the game was a lot better than that. About inventory management, I barely had to change out my items. So, for the most part, 2 items was just fine. So, really, the extra 2 item slots, that really wasn't much of a plus for me. I need camera control. Give me camera control. So, yeah, Wii version, shit. GameCube version's enjoyable. I'm sorry. I just even I think I pointed out on Google Plus to my friends there at one point that I was like, okay, I rented Twilight Princess from GameFly. I played it on the Wii, and I was like, I don't like this game. But then I went and got the GameCube version, which was quite expensive on eBay, but for me that was worth it, and I loved it. And I'm like, and I just loved having camera control. That makes everything so much better. Oh, thank God. But honestly, I would have been fine with the Wii version if it had given you an option to use a different controller. Oh, you don't want to use Wii motion controls? Fine. You can use a GameCube controller, or even a classic controller, like Sonic Unleashed does. But no, they force you to use motion controls, because Nintendo, for whatever reason, just wants you to use motion controls. And it's the same problem that the original Skyward Sword version, the Wii version, had. And I'll get to that later. But, yeah, options are good, Nintendo. Start using them more. Honestly, the Wii version would have been fine if we had been given an option to switch out the controller we wanted to use. But no, we don't get that. God. Damn. I did not mean to be this negative about the game. I thought I wouldn't have very many negatives, but I was wrong. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Okay. I think that's everything, though. I think I got all that out of my system. I can't think of any other... Well, I don't like the Water Temple. I really didn't like it, but it wasn't as bad as, say, Majora Mask's Temple, so whatever. But I think that's everything. I think that is everything. Oh, actually, no. One more thing. Sorry, sorry, there's just one more thing that I found really stupid about this game. I know, I'm sorry. I say it one more and then and then damn. It's like, no, it's another thing. Yeah, the Wii version's a mirrored version of the GameCube version. That's really the only difference. And there's a reason for that. It's to do with Link's left-handedness, right-handedness thing. It's to do with that. But anyway, one more thing that didn't make sense, and it's something that Majora's Mask did right and that this game failed to do. Okay, so apparently at one point Ganon or Zant or whatever, actually no, regarding Zant, that's another thing I have a problem with in this game. I'm sorry, but the negatives just keep coming, and I'm trying to stop, but they keep coming. They keep coming. I'm trying to stop, but they keep coming. But yeah, another thing that I found really stupid about this game is that no one... Okay, well, first of all, at one point Ganon, Zant, I don't remember who it was, they cast a barrier around Twilight, around the castle town, Hyrule Castle Town, and nobody in the town seems to care. I'm not joking. Nobody seems to give a shit, except a few of these knights that Link knows, but no one cares. I don't care about them. But for the most part, nobody cares about the barrier surrounding Hyrule Castle Town. So no one in Hyrule Castle Town cares about the barrier surrounding them. Like nobody, like you don't see anyone screaming or panicking or shouting or anything like that, compared to what was going on in Majora's Mask, where everyone noticed the threat above them and they all reacted to it in different ways. That doesn't happen here in this game regarding the barrier surrounding Hyrule Castle Town. Nobody gives a shit, and I'm just like, if you guys don't care, then I don't see why I should. It's like, why? Like, why? Like, why? Why doesn't anyone care? And like, very few people actually try to do anything about it. And just like, yeah, okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. It makes no sense to me. Like, if there's a threat in your game, fucking act like it. Don't like have a non-reaction to it. Please. God, like, and there's one last thing I want to touch on. I think this is the last one. I think that this is the last one. Okay. And there are a few minor issues, but if I covered every single issue I had, we'd be here all day. So I'm just going to focus on the major ones. Okay. It's regarding the villain in the game. Zant, in my opinion... Actually, no, let me rephrase it. Ganondorf should not have been the main villain. Honestly, he didn't need to be there. He shows up towards the end of the game, and then that's it. I'm like, why was he the villain? Why was he the main villain? Why couldn't it have been Zant? Because Zant actually seemed like an interesting villain, and it would have been a nice break from having Ganon as the villain. That's another thing that this game could have used to differentiate itself from Ocarina of Time, having a different villain. But no, it's like, let's bring back Ganon. Nintendo, Ganon does not need to be the villain in every fucking Zelda game. And I know that there are Zelda games out there where he's not the villain, but those are kind of obscure for the most part. Like, this is a mainstream title, and like, and I'm just like, why couldn't they just make Zant the villain? He could have been the villain. Like, he had all the qualities that made him that made him a suitable villain. But no. There's like, you know what? Nope, Zant's not the real bad guy. Ganon is. And then Zant just disappears and Ganon shows up, and I'm just like, stop. Just stop. Just stop. I don't know why Nintendo is so fixated on following this formula for Zelda, where it's like, Link hero, Zelda damsel, Ganon bad guy, place called Hyrule. Stop it. Stop it. It's okay to change things up. Like, stop it. Just stop it. Damn, like, stop. Just stop. Just stop. Like, it's annoying. Like, come on, change things up. Please, Nintendo, change things up. It's okay. It's okay to change things up. God, like seriously. Not to mention that Ganon's boss battle isn't even all that good. So, it's just like, what's the point? His boss battle in Ocarina of Time was a lot better. In this one, all you just do is chase him while Zelda fires arrows at him on horseback or whatever. And then you get into a sword fight with him, which isn't really all that good. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's also this one scene where Ganon, like, possesses Zelda, and you have to, like, fight her in that form. Which could have been interesting, but then they just copy and paste the whole... throw projectiles at Link so he can hit them back, and keep doing that until the projectile hits Ganon. And I'm like, you guys could have changed that up. You see, that's the thing about Nintendo with this game. They didn't change things up, even though they very well could have. So it's like... Ganon did not need to be the villain in this game. He just didn't. Okay, I think... He's hinted at for a moment when Xanta's monologuing, but then he gets to the throne again and it's like, about goddamn time. I was about to fall asleep just waiting for your bitch asses, right? Exactly. God, please. Ganon didn't need to be the villain. Let someone else do it. Please. But I think those are all the negatives. I pray to God that those are all the negatives, because I do want to talk about the positives. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 negatives. Holy shit! Oh my god! Oh shit! Okay. Wow. Okay. Damn. Just... Damn. Damn. I did not mean to tear into the game that much. I thought I was going to have only what, 5 or so negatives? No, I had almost 3 times that number. Damn. Oh, damn. Okay. I think that's all. I hope that's all. I really hope that's all. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Damn. Okay. Let's get to the positives. Damn. Whew, time for some positivity. Okay, so, what do I like about the game? Okay. Well, for one thing, I like the art style. I liked it. I thought it was interesting. It's not my favorite, but I did like it. I like how Link looks. I love his Twilight Princess model. I love it. It's probably my favorite model of his. I'd say I like it even more than Breath of the Wild's model. But yeah, I do love the art style. Well, for the most part. There are some characters that look really, really ugly or weird. But I actually did like the art style. I thought the environments looked really nice. I thought the details were great. The game graphically looks beautiful. It looks beautiful to me. I like the graphics and the art style. Even when everything's covered in Twilight, the game just looks nice to me. I like it. And the Twilight Realm gives off this elements of it gives off this elements of peace and serenity, even though it's a very dark setting. I don't know. I actually like being in Twilight Realm. It just felt so calming in a sense. So yeah, the art style is definitely something I like in this game. Oh yeah, that's another thing I want to bring up. Midna carried the game, honestly. She carried the game. She was the best character in the game by far. I love Midna. Midna is so awesome. She's a great character. I love how sarcastic and witty and humorous she is and sassy. I love her. I love her. I love her. She's just such a great character, and she actually goes through development. At first, she's quite self-interested, but over time, she does learn to care for others, and even sacrifices herself at one point just to help Link and Zelda out. I love her. She's just such a good character. It's a shame she had to be wasted on this game, but she's just such a good character. I love her. Like, Nintendo knocked it out of the park with her character. She's just so good. I love her. Oh, Minna. Oh, man. I love Minna. Okay, anything else? I like the gameplay. In fact, the gameplay is very polished. It's actually very polished. It's very polished. And what I mean by that is that there are actually a number of improvements made in the... A number of improvements made to the Zelda gameplay. For one thing, when you have full health, when you run into a fairy, you won't use up the fairy by accident. You just won't. And if your wallet is full, then whenever you pick up a rupee from a chest, you don't waste it. You don't. So instead, the game puts it back for you. Although there's a problem with that as well, and I guess I'll talk about that later and put it on the negatives. But like, it's changes like that make the Zelda game and Zelda games in general a lot more fun to play, because Twilight Princess is actually just very solid as a game in terms of gameplay. Like, the gameplay is just very, very polished, perhaps the most polished out of all the Zelda games. It's too bad that the whole structure is shit, but the gameplay itself is very good. And I like how you can run and cut grass. Like, you can actually run and cut grass, so you don't have to stop and slash at grass. You can just run and cut grass. So that was a nice addition. And plus I love aiming with the bow and with other items in Twilight Princess. Like, the aiming system's really good. It's good on the Wii and it's good on the GameCube. So yeah, the gameplay is definitely a step up from the previous games. And there are probably more examples I can think of, but those are just a few examples. Anyway, let's see. So we talked about the graphics, gameplay, the music. I like the music. I don't think it's not my favorite soundtrack, but I liked the music in this game. The music was pretty good. I like the Twilight Realm music. I like the Ordon Village music. Really, like, there are some tracks in this game that I like. It's not my favorite soundtrack, but it's good. So yeah, the music was definitely a plus. Anything else? Okay, so it's gameplay, graphics, music. There's one more thing. What was that one? That's just another thing. Music, graphics, gameplay. Damn, what is it? Story. The story. It's okay. I have mixed feelings on this story. So I guess I can't put it, like, I don't think I can put it into, like, either the positives or negatives. Like, the story does have some interesting things, like the Twilight Realm and Midna, but it also has a number of uninteresting things like Ilya and Ganondorf. So it's like the story's a mixed bag. It has some good things and some bad things. So I'm not going to call it good or bad. It's just serviceable. That's what I'm going to call the story. It's serviceable. It's serviceable. It's not good, but it's not bad either. It's just serviceable. So I'm mixed on the story, so I won't be commenting on that. And because I've pretty much already done that. But is there anything else that I liked? Anything else that I liked? I liked the dungeons. I really liked the dungeons in this game. I liked all the dungeons. The dungeons were so much fun. I like the dungeons. I love all of them. I don't think there was a single one that I hated, except for the lake bed temple or whatever it was called, the water temple or whatever, or I forgot what the name of it was called, but I didn't like that one. But I liked all the other temples. Like, all the other temples were pretty fun. I liked every single one. Now, what would my favorite be? That's hard to say, honestly. That's hard to say. I guess maybe the Sky Temple. That one I really liked that one. But yeah, I like the dungeons overall. Oh, and I like the wolf form. Yeah, I like the scene where Link turned into a wolf. I like the wolf form. I liked playing as the wolf, actually. Like, I don't know. I just found it a really cool concept. Although they could have taken it a lot more, because it was a kind of shallow concept. They could have used it more in the game, because it was an interesting concept, but it wasn't fleshed out enough. It wasn't. So. Huh. But anyway, I'm trying to like, but yeah, I really did like playing as a wolf. Like, I thought the whole, like, using your senses to find hidden things, I thought that was interesting. Or hidden entrances even. And I thought it was also interesting that you could talk to animals, but you don't really get to use that very much in the game, so yeah, the wolf form could have had more utility. And I also like jumping from place to place with Midna as the wolf. And I also like this one attack, which is basically like Nintendo's version of Sonic's Lightspeed attack, where you charge up your attack on a bunch of enemies nearby, and then you just go ham on all of them in quick succession. That's I call it basically Wolf Link's light speed attack. But I liked that. And I also liked attacking as the wolf. And even running as the wolf. Going from place to place as the wolf was kind of fun. And I also loved how, like, you could scare the shit out of people nearby if you were in wolf form. Like, you could scare the shit out of people nearby. That was funny. Like, I remember going to the castle town as a wolf and just watching everyone just scream their heads off and run away. It's too bad you couldn't transform near people, for obvious reasons, but yeah. But yeah, I did like playing as the wolf. I just wish that it had been used more. Anything else I can say? I have almost half the number of positives as negatives. Oh, fuck me. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Going back to Midna, she's technically not the only character in the game who had development. As we pointed out earlier in the Rantstream, Colin, one of the Ordon village kids, he also had development too. But he was, unlike Midna, he was a minor character though. But he also had some development, so I guess that's another positive. Colin was a decent character. He was honestly a lot more bearable than those annoying Ordon village kids. So they were kind of annoying. I'm sorry. I mean, Beth was okay, but the baby, he just turned me off. And the other kid, Tallow, I think that was his name. So Mallow was the baby and Tallow was the older brother, I think. He was annoying. So, I'm sorry, like, I probably found him the most annoying out of all of them. But Colin was okay. I liked him. Beth was alright. I'm pretty indifferent towards her. The other two I kind of don't like. But, yeah. Anyway. Anything else I can say about this game regarding the positives? Come on, there have to be more positives. I thought I would have more. There have to be more positives. Oh yeah, I forgot. Regarding Zelda, actually this is a negative. I'm sorry. Let me say that for the negatives. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, so I guess that's it for positives. I'm trying to think. I would think that there would be more. Huh. I don't know. Can you guys think of any more positives? Let me drink some water. I'll be right back. I need to use the restroom. I'll be right back. Okay. So I don't know. I can't think of any other positives. Oh, actually, no. I can think of another one. There's this one positive I can think of. I liked some of the new items. There were a few new items. So let me see. I liked all the new items. I liked the new items. There was the ball and chain thing. I liked using that. It was fun smashing ice blocks with that and rocks and shit. That was fun. I also liked using the spinner thing. That was actually probably my favorite new item. I loved using it. I liked just riding along the walls and jumping off to other walls. That was so much fun, and you get so much momentum from doing it. I loved that. I just loved it. And in fact, the temple where you had to use it, actually probably my actually that one would probably be my favorite temple, not the Sky Temple, but the Sky Temple would be second. I just absolutely loved the spinner item. It's too bad that you can't really use it outside of like certain walls and shit. Like, I felt like it could have been useful as another mode of transportation, because I really do like using the item, and I think it can do damage to certain enemies as well. But yeah, it's a very cool item. And I liked using the Dominion Rod, which is basically like the command melody in Wind Waker, where you just take control of shit. But here you just fire the Dominion Rod at something that can be animated and moved, and then you can just move it. It moves just as you move. So I like the Dominion Rod. But I think those are like the only new items in the game. But I did like them. Okay, so any other positives? Any other positives? I'm trying to think of any other positives. Come on, She-Man. I can't think of any others. I feel like I covered just about all of them. Yeah, I think that's just about it. I'm sorry, I can't think of any more. I can think of one more negative, though. I'm sorry, but I just have to say it. I guess it's a bit subjective, but honestly, it kind of ties into the last point on this list about Ganondorf. Zelda, in my opinion, should not have been in the game. She was just a very minor character. I feel like, which I feel like that's not necessarily a bad thing, because there are other games where she doesn't play a large role, but here she just felt unnecessary. She really felt unnecessary. Like, you already have, like, we have Midna and we have Zant and we have Link. Do we really need anyone else? Did we really need anyone else? Like, Zelda and Ganon were just, it felt like they were just there as a formality rather than because they were an integral part of the plot. Like, it just... Like it's just like, I'm just like, why are these two even here? Because they largely don't matter. Zelda shows up only at certain points in the game. Ganondorf shows up only at the end. It's like, what's the point? All we really need are Link, Link, Zant, and Midna. So I'm just like, why is Zelda even here? Fortunately, they do make Zelda a more interesting character in Skyward Sword, so there's that. But I think that's... I think those are all the negatives I can think of. I think there was one more, but... I can't remember what it was. So yeah, we have like... There are like almost twice as many positives. I'm sorry, twice as many negatives as positives. But overall, Twilight Princess was a solid game. At least in terms of gameplay. It's good, but it has some serious issues with pacing and with overall design. And at the end of the day, you'll feel like you've played it before. And that's not really a feeling you want from any game. You don't want that. You just don't. So, sorry, but no. Just like, if only Twilight Princess had tried to be a bit different, then it probably would have gotten a better reception. Because it's a very polarizing game. A very polarizing game. Whereas Skyward Sword is universally hated. But well, in that case, let's just get on to Skyward Sword. Oh man, okay. Let me start with the negatives first. Oh damn, okay. Damn, my head hurts. I think all this negativity from the Rantstream is getting to me. Okay, Skyward Sword. Negatives. Oof, okay. Damn. Alright. I'm just gonna come out and say it. The motion control system was very bad. It was horrendous. It sucked. It just sucked. Now, keep in mind that I haven't actually played the original Wii version. I've only played the Switch version. But I did try to use the motion control system with the Joy-Cons. And I just couldn't. I'm like, no, I can't play like this. Just, no. For one thing, the fucking gyroscope shit or whatever keeps going out of alignment. And you have to keep pressing this button just to reset the alignment. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to do this. I shouldn't have to keep resetting the fucking thing just so my sword strikes can be accurate. That's not something I should have to do. And another thing that I don't like is that... Well, actually, no, that just ties into this point. Like, okay, if you have to warn the player, like, literally the game will tell you, if the controls ever feel out of alignment, press this button. So, if you have to warn the player that your system, that your system is flawed, then maybe that's a sign that you need a better system. Just a thought, Nintendo. Just a thought. Just a thought. It's like, oh, yeah, the system kind of sucks, so here's a way to fix it. Yeah, okay, sure. It kind of reminds me of that really stupid warning in Light Skimmer Pants, where the game, like, warns you, oh, if you start a new story mode without getting all the rewards of the previous story mode, those rewards from the previous story mode will forever be locked. And they expect people to just process that and not have any unlock, and to not have any rewards that get locked forever. No, fuck you. Just fuck you. It kind of feels like that here, where it's like, again, if you're warning me about a system that's shit, then maybe you need a different system. Just a thought. Like, seriously. Alright, I'm gonna get some popcorn now, right? Right? Yeah, get some popcorn, because I'm about to rip right into this. Oh, I love the hidden skills of Twilight Princess. I will comment on that as well. Let me go back and add that. I love the hidden skills in Twilight Princess. They were fun. They were fun to learn. I loved the helm splitter, the backslice, the mortal draw. I loved all of those. The hidden skills were pretty cool, actually. You really only need one, but when you find the other ones, it actually makes gameplay a lot more fun. So yeah. But anyway. But yeah, fuck the motion control system. Fuck the motion control system with the Wii remote. Fuck the motion control system with the Joy-Cons. Just fuck the system overall. And just like in Twilight Princess, there is no way to not use motion controls in the original version. But in both in both of the remasters for Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, you don't have to use motion controls. You can use controllers instead. So the remasters got that right. Thank God. But in the originals, you couldn't do that. You had to use the motion controls. You had to use the motion controls. And unfortunately, because, you know, and just like in Twilight Princess, you know, with the Wii remote, you don't really have a second analog stick. So, yeah, no extra camera control, which just ties into the first point, so I won't write it as a separate point. And not to mention that, honestly, there's really no guarantee that the game will read your sword strikes accurately anyway. Like, there's no guarantee that will happen, because there are times when the game misread my sword strikes. And I'm just like, why did they make this a system? Why the hell did they make this a system? Like, because again, there are times where I meant to slice in one direction by slicing another, and I got hit. And I'm just like seriously. Like, it's just frustrating. Okay, any other negatives about Skyward Sword other than its terrible motion control system? There's also the pointless backtracking. Everyone hates that about the game. Yeah, I'm about to get to that. Yeah, in fact, that's exactly it. Like, oops. Which ties into this point, really. There was a lot of needless backtracking. And I really don't know why. Like, and it ties into the point that someone in the chat brought up. There were only 3 areas in the game, so Nintendo was like, "Oh shit, we don't really have a lot of ground to cover here. Fuck it, let's just reuse the same areas again and again." Great, cool, sure, okay. And I'm just like, why? Like, okay, so you have to make 3 visits to each of the three main areas. Faron Woods, Lanayru Desert, and what was the third one? Elden Volcano. That's what it was. So you have to make a few visits to each region. 3 visits to each region. Now, personally, I did not have a problem with going through the second visits, because at least in the second visits you go through new areas of the, like, that you haven't visited, like new areas. So, like, when you go on your second visit to Faron Woods, you find a different temple in a different area. I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not against the idea of multiple visits to an area, as long as it's not like I'm just doing it pointlessly. So I don't think anyone had a problem with the second visits in this game. It's really the third visits that people have a problem with, where you have to go back again. And in Fair Woods, on your third visit, you have to go and collect tad tones. And I'm just like, why? Like, why? Why do we have to do this? Like, what's the purpose of this? I guess Nintendo was like, oh wait, but if we just give you the thing you need right away, then that'll make the game too short. It's okay for a game to be short, Nintendo. Piss off with that mindset. Just piss off with that mindset, seriously. Which they did with Breath of the Wild, by the way. They Breath of the Wild has like no filler bullshit, thank God. But yeah, with Skyward Sword there was quite a bit of it, and I'm just like, fam, it's okay for a game to be short. And Skyward Sword is honestly, it's not even that short. It's not long, but it's not short either. It's fine if you exclude all the stupid backtracking. And on the third visit, to Elden Volcano, you have to go through this. You have to do this stealth section, kind of like what Wind Waker did with the Forsaken Fortress. And you do that to get your items back, because at one point your items were stolen. Because you landed in the area, but then you somehow got knocked out, and then some enemies found you and took your shit. So now you have to break out and get all that shit back without getting caught. But I mean, that section, I actually didn't mind that section. I thought it was fun, but like, it wasn't really necessary. It just wasn't necessary. Like, I didn't mind it, but it wasn't necessary. And the third visit, now, at least with the third visit for Lanayru Desert, you actually do get to come across another new area. I forgot what it's called, but you in that area you actually get to meet the Thunder Dragon. So, I mean, at least for the third visit, in Lanayru Desert, you actually get to, go to another new area. So at least there was that. It's not a very big area, but it was fun to explore nonetheless. Pretty linear, but still fun to explore. So yeah, like, the third visits still, like, it wasn't really necessary. The third visits didn't need to be a thing. Like you're supposed to visit these areas a third time to get parts of a song that you need to, like, I forgot what the reason was for it, but you needed to get into like a temple or whatever, and I'm just like, this is just like that stupid side quest from Twilight Princess again, isn't it? Where you have to go and collect a bunch of shit to get to the Sky Temple, and I'm just like, stop, Nintendo. Stop. Like, at least, like, if you wanted someone to go and collect something to get to the final area, fine, but you didn't need to break it up into multiple pieces just so that the player wouldn't go to the end of the game too quickly. Like, stop. Just stop. Just stop. Stop that. It's like they're afraid of their games being too short. Like, stop. Just stop. Just stop it. So yeah, the backtracking really could have been like, They could have stopped it at the second visit. Really, the second visit would have been fine. I don't mind the second visits. It's just the third visits that didn't need to be there. So, really, the backtracking can just fuck off. Oh, hey, Blue! Oh, yeah, okay, so there's another thing. Yeah, 3 fucking visits, I know. It's just too much. We don't need that many visits in this game. Another thing that people hate about this game, and rightfully so, and thank God the HD remaster fixed this, Fi. Fi was an annoying as hell companion. She sucked. A lot of people most people, flat out did not like her. And the problem with her was that she would tell you things that you already knew, or that you could easily figure out. Like, for whatever reason, she insisted on holding your hands every step of the way. and just couldn't let you, like, couldn't just give you some breathing room and figure shit out. And she would also tell you things that you literally were just told. Like, oh, cool, you got a new item. Use this. Use it like this and this. And then she would pop out and then tell you exactly what the game told you. And I'm like... Okay. Sure. Yeah, thanks, Fi. Thanks, Fi. I didn't already know that. Like, she honestly just kept popping up out of nowhere just to tell you something that you either didn't need to know or that you already knew or could have figured out. And I'm like, stop. Just stop. Like, stop it with the hand holding. Like, let players figure shit out for themselves. Now, fortunately, in the HD remaster, Fi is not nearly as annoying. She is not nearly as annoying. Like, whenever she has something important to tell you, she won't just pop right out and say it. She'll actually, like, her icon on the screen will blink, and then you can talk to her. And then you can listen to what she has to say. So, you can ignore her if you want. For the most part, there are a few moments where she does pop out and tell you about things. But for the most part, you can just ignore her. So, yeah, like, they definitely fixed her in the HD remaster. But in the original version, she just showed up out of nowhere and just kept interrupting your game. And I'm just like, Nintendo, how dumb do you think people are? Like, they can figure this shit out on their own. Come on. Hey, did you know that your shield burned in flames because it's made of wood? Hey, did you know that if you lock onto your opponent and press up on the D-pad, I can tell you more? I estimate a 99% chance the lava is hot. There is a 99.9% chance that Zelda is the woman right in front of you. Yeah, okay. Shut up. Just shut up, Fi. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Just shut up. Yeah, she's basically like Navi from, Navi or whatever, from Ocarina of Time, but worse. Yes, I think she's actually worse than Navi. Navi didn't annoy me nearly as much as Fi did. I never played Skyward Sword, by the way, the original one, I mean. But I have seen a walkthrough of it, and I remember watching a walkthrough of it in the past, and yeah, Fi showed up quite a bit, and I'm just like, did she need to be here this many times? But instead of hearing the hey, listen, you just hear an iconic noise that I don't even know how to describe, right? Fi, like that's like some weird blinking noise. I don't know how to describe it either. But yeah, Fi, she was annoying. I'll be right back. For some reason my head hurts. Let me go and drink some ginger ale. Okay, sorry about that. My head was hurting for some reason. Sorry. I don't know why. I got my head kind of hurt. I guess because I've been talking for a while. Though that normally shouldn't happen. I don't know. I don't know why my head's hurting. But anyway, back to this. So, what further annoys me about this game is that the HD remaster for the Switch, which I have owned and streamed, the HD remaster fixed 2 of the issues above this bullet point. Like, only 2 of the issues, sorry. The HD remaster fixed only 2 of the issues above this bullet point. Only 2 of them. So it fixed the whole motion control system being forced, so you don't have to use the motion control system on the remaster. You don't have to, and Fee is a lot less annoying on the remaster as well. But it didn't fix the backtracking. Nintendo did not fix the backtracking in the Switch port. And I'm just like, why? Like, I don't understand why. Because the thing is that in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, Nintendo took steps to make certain quests less tedious. Like, you could collect fewer tiers of lights in the HD remaster of Twilight Princess, and they also like made you collect fewer Triforce charts for the fetch quest for the Triforce in Wind Waker. But it didn't bother changing anything about any of the side quests in Skyward Sword to make it easier to play. They didn't change any of that. They didn't. And I'm just like, you guys went out of your way to fix some things in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess regarding the quests, but not Skyward Sword? Honestly, Skyward Sword is probably the laziest remaster out of all these remasters. I'm not the... Okay, sorry about that. My internet crapped out on me. Apparently my internet crapped out on me. Hopefully y'all can hear me now. But yeah, as I said, like, the HD remaster didn't bother. Like, it's the HD remaster of Skyward Sword is lazier than the HD remasters of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, because again, in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, Nintendo actually made some of the fetch quests easier to do, like the Tears of Light segments and the Triforce Peace Hunting segments. Nintendo made those easier to do for Twilight Princess and Wind Waker respectively, but they didn't bother changing any of the quests in Skyward Sword to make them easier to do. Like the HD remaster for Skyward Sword, it's the laziest HD remaster of all the Zelda games. Sorry, it just is. Because, like, Nintendo fixed things that were kind of surface level. Kind of. Like, well, not exactly surface level, but honestly weren't the biggest issues with the game. Like, because even if you push aside the motion controls or Phi, you still have to contend with all the backtracking you have to do. It's just like, you guys fixed 2 of the other issues, but not the backtracking issue? Really? For the remaster? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like, the other 2 issues were important, don't get me wrong, but honestly, people would have been willing to put up with them more if you had just fixed the backtracking. But you didn't, so... Oops. So, yeah, oops. Okay, anything else regarding negatives? So yeah, the HD remaster is like the laziest remaster for all the 3D Zelda games. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, the Skyward Sword remaster is like the laziest one. Anyway, now they could have taken out the 3rd visits, and the Skyward Sword would have been so much better as a game, but they didn't do that. Like, they could have just made it to where, oh, so you want to go and collect, you want to go and, like, so you want to go to the final area? Well, you just have to go and collect this one item and then you're done. No, they force you to go through the same thing of collecting all the pieces of the song again. And I'm just like, stop. Okay, but anyway, are there any other negatives regarding Skyward Sword? I can't think of any. I think those are the only ones. Oh, right. Actually, somebody pointed this out earlier. There are too few areas in the game. There really shouldn't have been only 3 main areas of the game. 4 if you count Skyloft. It's just 4 if you count Skyloft. And, like, why? Like, you guys could have added more. And there's really no reason as to why they couldn't have added more. This game had a development cycle for 5 years. What the fuck were you guys doing? You couldn't add more content? Like, only 3 areas. Hell, like... Jesus Christ, Majora's Mask felt more expansive as a world than this world did. That's just fucking sad. Like, why are there only 3 areas outside of Skyloft? And no, the sky doesn't count. That shit was... Honestly, regarding the sky, that's another problem I have with this game. The sky is so damn barren and boring. The sky is boring and barren. There's almost nothing in it. There's just almost nothing in it. You think, oh, cool, I have a bird and I can fly. I can explore the sky now. Except there's almost nothing to explore. Sorry, but there's not. There's just nothing. Like, there are so many almost empty... Like, so many islands that barely have anything on them other than, like, what, treasure chests or shit. And I'm just like, that's it? That's it? That's literally it? Like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. It's just frustrating because they could, like, the sky could have been this really great and open space with so many interesting areas to explore, but no. Jesus Christ! Even the Wind Waker felt like, even the Wind Waker did this better, and it had some islands that didn't have anything on them. Like, the Wind Waker felt more like an actual world. Skyward Sword, not so... Like, the sky in Skyward Sword, not so much. Sorry. Where would you... Oh, hi, DBZ, by the way. Where would you... 5 if you count the Thundercloud. Oh, yeah, that's right. The Thundercloud would be the 5th area, but even then, there's not much on it. Really, all you just need to go to is, like, the Isle of Songs, and that's it. Oh, and this area where you have to summon this creature, some shit like that. I don't remember. But anyway. Where would you rank Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword in your favorite Zelda games? Ooh. So, I should point this out right now. I actually didn't hate playing Skyward Sword. For the Switch. If I had played the Wii version, I would have hated it. Just like Twilight Princess. The Wii version of Twilight Princess. Except, I would have said that Skyward Sword Wii version was worse. And it certainly is. At least in terms of gameplay. So, yeah. Where would I rank Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword? I like them, but... they're not my favorites. My favorites would probably be Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker. So, okay, so if I were to rank 3D Zelda games in terms of the ones I like most, Skyward Sword would be at the bottom, and Ocarina of Time would be at the top. So it would be Ocarina of Time, then Wind Waker, then Majora's Mask, then Breath of the Wild, then Twilight Princess, and then Skyward Sword. That would be my ranking. But again, it's subjective because I said I was ranking them based on which ones I liked most. Or least, for that matter. Yeah, exactly. The Switch version of Skyward Sword is just better than the Wii version. Don't play the Wii version. Just don't play it. Do not play it. I'm glad I've never played it. I saw it once in the. Sorry. Like, sorry, like, for some, I don't know why OBS crashed on me. That wasn't even my computer's fault that time. It was OBS. Like, it just crashed. But yeah, like, as Maple said, the Switch version of Skyward Sword is better. I've never played the Wii version of Skyward Sword. I don't plan to. I actually saw that GameStop once. I was thinking about getting it, but I was like, you know, because I got both versions of Twilight Princess for, yeah, like both the GameCube and Wii versions. There's a Wii U version, but I don't have the Wii U, so whatever. But like, I was like, okay, well, why don't I get both versions of Skyward Sword? And, but then I was like, yeah, no, I feel like there was no point because, yeah, exactly. Like, if you don't like Twilight Princess on the Wii, then you're not gonna like it you're not gonna like Skyward Sword on the Wii. Exactly. That's why I was like, I was thinking about getting the Wii version of Skyward Sword just to test it out, like just to experience it. But then I was like, there's really no point. Like the Switch version is so much better from what I've seen and heard, and I already didn't like Twilight Princess on the Wii. I'm not gonna like it I'm not gonna like Skyward Sword on the Wii. So I don't see the point. Like it just didn't feel like a worthwhile investment to me. I kind of wanted to just get it for collection purposes, but now I was like, you know, nah, I don't see the point. I don't see the point. Like, just play the Switch version. It's so much better. And I like how you can use the right stick for your sword strikes instead of just the Joy-Cons, so you don't have to use motion controls. The right stick isn't perfect though. I mean, it's serviceable, but it's not perfect. And you have to get used to like holding down the button just so you can use camera control so that you don't accidentally swing your sword instead. That took me a while to get used to. But it works. It works. It's not perfect, but it works. It's certainly better than swinging your Joy-Con around like an idiot and having to realign the goddamn gyroscope or whatever it's called every fucking second or whatever. Yeah, just don't play Skyward Sword on the Wii. It's just not. Just don't. Don't. Like, Jesus Christ, don't. Just fucking don't. It's not. Just don't. Please, just don't. I barely tolerated Twilight Princess on the Wii, so if I ever got Skyward Sword for the Wii, I would probably just stop playing it within the first few hours. Like, I don't know how people were able to play through that game entirely. Like, I would have given up within the first few hours. But yeah, don't play the Wii version of Skyward Sword. If you want to play it, play the Switch version. The Switch version is just so much better. It's a lot more fun. They could have done more to improve the experience, but I still enjoyed the HD version of Skyward Sword. Just as I enjoyed the GameCube version of Twilight Princess. So I will never touch the Wii version of Skyward Sword, and I will never play the Wii version of Twilight Princess ever again. So, yeah. What do I think about Breath of the Wild? I'll get to that. Honestly, I'll say it right now before I talk about it later. It's a turn off for me. I just couldn't get through it. Sorry, I just couldn't. It partly, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I have, like, it's not because I think the game's bad or anything. It's just that it just wasn't my cup of tea. But I'll get to that later. But are there any other negatives in Skyward Sword? I think I've touched all. I think I've touched on all of the on all the points. I'm being serious when I say that I would much rather play the Skyfox Tower Defense game I got from my dad on Christmas than play Skyward Sword on the Wii. I never played the Tower Defense game, so I can't really comment on that, but I'm assuming that it's very bad, so yeah. That's how bad Skyward Sword is, apparently. On the Wii, anyway. On the Switch, it's not bad, but on the Wii, Just don't. Just don't. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Skyward Sword is not expensive on eBay. You can find it for like around $15, $20 at most. Like, it's not expensive, and with good reason, because people hate it. Although the funny thing is that this game initially had very positive reviews, with some people even saying that it was the best Zelda game ever. But you know, as time went on, people just saw the flaws in the game more and more, and then they were just like, nah, this game is just the weakest 3D Zelda. It is the weakest 3D Zelda game, by far. It is. I'm sorry, it just is. Even Twilight Princess is not this bad. I just no. Just no to Skyward Sword. I like the Switch version, but like, this game has issues. And if you hate, and if you don't like the Switch version, then you're certainly not going to like the Wii version. You'll probably want to break your disc if you play the Wii version. Yeah, for Twilight Princess, like, the Wii version is really stupidly cheap. But the GameCube version is like expensive. I got mine for like what, $90 or so. But I was fine with it because I wanted to play it on the GameCube. I didn't have a Wii U, unfortunately, so I couldn't play the Wii U version. And I really don't want to get the Wii U because, as I said in my last Rantstream, like, there's no point in getting it if you're just going to play it for only like a few games, like Smash 4 or Twilight Princess HD or Wind Waker HD or New Super Mario Brothers U. Actually, no, that's on the Switch now. So really, that's one less game you have to play on the Wii U. But anyway, I know I want Twilight Princess and Wind Waker to both. I want both of the HD versions to be on the Switch. I'm like, Nintendo, what are y'all doing? What are you all doing? Release Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD on the Switch. I would buy those in a heartbeat. I love those games, and the HD versions are even better. I want to play the HD versions because they actually do have great improvements, and compared to the Switch version, which has some good improvements, but it could have been improved further. A Switch version of Skyward Sword, I mean. Anyway. And no, I'm like, seriously, guys, put the Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD on the Switch. I will buy those in a heartbeat. I would buy those. Really, I would buy those easily. Oh, not just those, but Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D too. Like, please, oh please, find a way to put those on the Switch, please. I will buy those too. I want all of those. Like, I don't want just the Skyward Sword HD remaster. I want all of the remakes and remasters, not just the one for Skyward Sword. Please. They're busy working on taking down the eShop of the 3DS and Wii U. Yeah, so whatever games you need to, whatever games you haven't gotten, go and get them. Go and get them. You may never get them again. But yeah, Skyward Sword truly is the weakest of all the 3D Zeldas. It is. It's the one that's the most. It's the one that people slam the most, and rightfully so. Even if you consider the Switch version, the game still has issues. I'm sorry, but like, don't get me wrong, I like Skyward Sword on the Switch, but it's not perfect. Are there any other negatives I can think of regarding Skyward Sword? Why wasn't there a Nintendo Direct this summer? I honestly don't know. I don't even pay attention to Nintendo Direct. I never watch those. I probably should, but I don't. But that is weird. That is weird that there wasn't one. You think that there would be one? Like there wasn't anyone. Like there wasn't anything getting in the way. Nothing. So I don't know. That's just weird. But are there any other negatives? Watching the chat go wild is so funny. Because it's so much fun watching. It's so much fun tearing into something and watching other people tear into it with you. It's just a big tear fest. I don't think there are going to be any other negatives for Skyward Sword. Surprisingly, I listed more negatives for Twilight Princess, and yet I still think it's the better game compared to Skyward Sword. Because here's the thing. Skyward Sword's problem is that, like, okay, so Skyward Sword has an issue of trying to do things differently, which is fine, but fucking them up. Whereas Twilight Princess didn't try to do things differently, which made it generic, but it was still a good game. So Twilight Princess's flaw was that it just didn't try to do things differently, but it still ended up being a good game. Whereas Skyward Sword tried to do things differently and just fucked them up, and it ended up being a bad game. So, yeah. I think that's it for Skyward Sword. I can't think of anything else. I guess I can just go on to the positives. Nintendo, the company with the worst marketing in the world. Right? Look at the Wii U. It's terrible marketing. The console that nobody cares about. Like, even for the newest Zelda game, you could just play the Switch version instead of the Wii U version. Like, Breath of the Wild has both the Switch version and the Wii U version, for those of you who didn't already know. And you could just play the Switch version. Like, you could play the Wii U version, but really, why would you when nobody plays the Wii U anymore? So it's like, just play the Switch version. Like, they both run pretty. They both run pretty. Like, they both operate identically. So it's like, whatever. Anyway, positives for Skyward Sword. I like the art style. I liked the art style. I like the art style because I actually thought it was an interesting change of pace. It felt like a cross between Wind Waker's art style and Twilight Princess's art style. But that's not to say that that's all it was, because they didn't just make it a compromise between those two visuals. They actually went and put some effort into the art style, and it really shows. Like, there are some areas that looked really, really good. Like, there was this one area after this temple you had to do on the second visit for the Nehru Desert. Like, this one area where you where there's a bunch of robots and there's this blue light emanating from the ceiling or whatever. I can't remember that area, but that I can't remember like what the temple was called, but the end of that area was just really nice to look at. And I like how the desert looks, and Farum Woods looks absolutely beautiful. It just looks great. Elden Volcano looks nice too, so I actually did like the art style. It's not my favorite. My favorite art style would probably be either Wind Waker or Breath of the Wild. Wind Waker's or Breath of the Wild's. Like, I like both of those. But Skyward Sword had a nice art style. I don't think any of the games have bad art styles. My least favorite, if you were to ask me what my least favorite was, it would probably be either Twilight Princesses or Skyward Swords. The others, like, I pretty much like, but yeah. I did like the art style. Let's see, what else did I like? We didn't have a community like the Switch and try home menu. Yeah. As far as I've heard, Wii U and Switch run similarly. Wii U has a bit more frame drops. That's it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I watched a comparison video myself for Breath of the Wild, like for both versions, and they're pretty similar. But the Switch version runs slightly better at certain points, but that's it. Like, just very, very slightly. So the Switch version is better, but for the most part, it's like the frame rate's the same. Although there are a few areas where the Switch runs slightly better. I remember when Breath of the Wild was supposed to be the Zelda game strictly for the Wii U. Yeah, I remember that too, but then they decided to make a Switch version of it. Which I'm happy about because again, you know, not everyone's going to have a Wii U, and plus Nintendo knew that the Wii U wasn't doing well. So they thought, let's make a Switch version as well. Unfortunately, that would mean that, you know, Nintendo wouldn't be able to use the Wii U gamepad for Breath of the Wild. Like, you know, regarding the inventory, they wouldn't be able to use the inventory like Wind Waker did. Like with Wind Waker, you could like use the inventory on the fly. Like you don't even have to pause a game. Like because you have a gamepad with a touch screen, you could just like swap out your inventory on the fly without having to pause the game. And I think they were going to do something like that for Breath of the Wild for the Wii U, but you know, since the Switch version didn't have something like that, they're like, you know what? Let's not have that feature in there. But anyway, I don't think Nintendo really knew what to do with the Wii U. That's the thing. Like, the Wii U it was a pointless console. They didn't know what to do with it. Like it had a gimmick, but the gimmick was so shallow that nobody cared about it. When I saw it for the first time on TV, the trailer was like, "Oh, you guys can play with the TV turned off," and I'm like, "Okay, is that it? Like, who cares? Is that it? That's your big gimmick? Like, who the hell cares? Like, most people have multiple TVs in their house nowadays, so why would you ever need something like that? To save power, I guess, but that's not going to be much of a save. Like, what was the point? And then the Switch. The funny thing is that the Switch went and took that concept and made it better. So it's like, oh, not only can you play with the TV off, but you can also take the console with you. So it's like a combination of a handheld and a regular console. And I was like, now that's a gimmick. And it's a good one. Like, now that was the thing that made me want to Switch, because I was like, that's so cool. So, like, it's a console and a handheld, and it's just like, that's so cool. And the library for it was great. So the Switch had so much better, had much better marketing, like just so much better. And the Wii U on the other hand was just, yeah. But anyway, Mario Kart 8. Well, don't even get me started on that shit for the Wii U. Oh damn, the multiplayer was a mess. Oh my god! Like, thank God that the Switch version fixed that. Like, why the hell would you? Why the hell would you put one of the arena modes like Balloon Battle, like Shine Runner, whatever the modes are? I forgot what they were. It's been a while since I last played Mario Kart 8 on the Switch. But why the fuck would you? Why the fuck would you put that shit on a full length track? Like Mario Circuit. Like, I just like. Why? Like, why would you, like, those are modes meant to be played in arena like levels. It just, why? Like, those doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, exactly. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold a lot more than the original version did, and with good reason, because it was a lot better. So the Wii U could have had a strong finish with Mario Kart 8, but even then Nintendo went and fucks that up. Oh damn. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like a sadist, but it's just funny because like Nintendo just makes stupid mistakes like that, and I just can't help but laugh, and I'm like, guys, what were you thinking? Like, you guys have been in this business for who knows how long. You should have known better. I mean, I get it, people make mistakes, but it's like Nintendo could have avoided these, but they didn't. I don't know. But yeah. Going back to Skyward Sword, what else did I like about the game? So I like the art style and graphics. Let's just say graphics. I like the music. I like the Fair and Woods music. I even remember what it sounded like. I just love the Fair and Woods music. I love it. I like the Lanayru Desert music and the Elden Volcano music. And I like the Skyloft music. Yeah, this game has a few good tracks. And another thing to note is that in this game all this track, like, I think this game had a fully orchestrated soundtrack, which I thought fit the game. I know some people don't like the soundtrack. I thought it was fine. Okay, so the music I thought was fine. Anything else? Okay, so the story is definitely better than Twilight Princess's. Twilight Princess's story was kind of crap, but like there were some good parts, but there were some bad parts. It was a mixed bag. But Skyward Sword's story is actually better. I'd say it's better. Like I liked Groose as a character. At first he started off as annoying and antagonistic towards Link, but over time he actually does become a nicer person and even gets some character development. And I liked Zelda a lot more in this game than in Twilight Princess. In Twilight Princess she was essentially a non-character, but in Skyward Sword she was actually an interesting character. And she was definitely what Ilya should have been in Twilight Princess. And I actually liked Girahim as a character. He sucked as a villain, but I actually liked him. I thought his personality was funny. Like, he felt like a cheap version of Lady Gaga, and it worked. It worked. I actually liked Girahim as a character, although I honestly wish he had been the villain and not Demise, who's basically Ganondorf. But whatever. But yeah, I did like the story. And I also liked the twist that Impa was actually... that the old lady at the beginning of the game is actually Impa the whole time. That was it. That was a fun little twist. Although there's one thing that I don't like about the story. How do I explain this? I feel like it was meant to be an origin story to the Master Sword, right? But well, how do I explain this? I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. Skyward Sword just didn't feel like an origin story to me. It was meant to be an origin story, but it didn't feel like one to me. Except for the one line where Demise says, "Oh, an incarnation of my form shall follow anybody who possesses the gods of the spirit and the spirit of the hero." And I'm like, that to me. That's the only thing that makes this game an origin story. For the most part, this game really didn't feel like an origin story. I don't know. It just didn't feel like that to me. But yeah, I found the story decent. Yeah, she basically did nothing in TP. Exactly, she didn't. Yeah, the characters are funny. Yeah, they are. In Skyward Sword, there are a few characters that are funny. Like Colin, one of Bruce's friends. Like, if you did this side quest for him where you deliver a love letter to one of the girls in the Knight Academy, like you could give it to her, or you could give it to somebody else to use as toilet paper, which I found funny. Yeah, the Skyward Sword is supposed to be the first game in the timeline, but it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't really feel like the first game. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. And I don't like that. Like, I kind of don't like. See, the thing about. See, there's this game called The Minish Cap in the Zelda series, and I think that was a game that explained the origins of Link's hat, and then Skyward Sword kind of went and overrode that because Link has a green hat here as well, so it's like, what's the point? What was the point? Like the Minish Cap should have been the game to introduce Link's green uniform. But no, Skyward Sword went and ruined that. So, yeah. They could have done something different with Link's outfit in Skyward Sword, which Breath of the Wild did, fortunately. But, yeah. Honestly, the Zelda timeline is stupid. These games weren't even meant to have an overarching timeline. With Nintendo, that was an afterthought, and it shows because there are continuity issues throughout the entire franchise. But, like, how the hell is there a downfall timeline? That literally makes no sense. It makes sense for there to be a child timeline and an adult timeline, but a downfall timeline, that technically should never happen. But I don't fucking know. Yeah, exactly. Skyward Sword completely destroyed the purpose of the Minish Cap. Exactly. I'm like, it's like, you guys could have had Link wear a different uniform. But no, it's like, let's make him wear green. Because Nintendo, for whatever reason, just likes to stick to tradition so much. Which is why Twilight Princess was such a generic mess. Like, they don't like changing things up. And I'm just like, guys, you need to stop doing that. That mindset of yours, it's not helping the franchise. Like, Link could have had something else other than the green hat in this game. Yeah, the Zelda timeline, I'm not even gonna... Here, let me take a look at it really fast. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, hold on. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me just zoom in on this. Okay, this ad has got to go. Okay, how do I get rid of this ad? This ad has got to go. Oh my god, fuck ads. Oh my god. You need to fuck off. I don't care about you. See, now I can't even... Let me go to Google Images. Let me go to Google Images. Okay, there we go. No, it's just going to take me back to that same... Just forget it. I just want to look at the damn thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have Skyward Sword, and then the Minish Cap, and then Four Swords, and then Ocarina of Time, and then we have the Hero's Successful Timeline, which gives you two different timelines, the Child Era and the Adult Era. So during the Child Era, you get Majora's Mask, and then Twilight Princess, and then Four Swords and Hyrule Adventure. With the Adult Era, you get Ganondorf, get Sealed, and then you have the Wind Waker, and then Phantom Hourglass, and then Spirit Tracks. Okay, so those timelines make sense, but then you have this fucking timeline right here with the heroes defeated, and I'm just like, where did this come from? This canonically should not have happened. But anyway, you have A Link to the Past, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, two games I don't really care about. Link's Awakening, which is on the Switch, by the way. Yeah, they remade it for the Switch. And then you have The Legend of Zelda, and then Adventure of Link. So this timeline here, it just, yeah, what the fuck is this? What the hell is this shit? I hate sites that have videos like that. It just fucking takes up your whole page. Exactly. Ads are just getting more and more annoying nowadays. They're very, very attention seeking. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm an ad. I don't give a fuck, dude. Just fuck off. How does that make sense? There are only two timelines in Ocarina of Time. Yeah, exactly. It makes no fucking sense. Even game theory pointed out, it's like you have two valid timelines that are parallel to each other, and then you have a third timeline where the hero's defeated. What fucking sense does that even make? Okay, so let me look up a timeline with Breath of the Wild in there. So what do you get when you put in Breath of the Wild? Oh, okay, so apparently Breath of the Wild's timeline is a secret. So like it's the only game apparently that isn't actually placed within the series' official chronology. But this was in 2008. This article was released in 2018 though, so I don't know if things have changed. So where is Breath of the Wild on the Zelda timeline? Yeah, we have no idea. I guess we don't have any idea. Let me look. I don't know. God damn it. Open up. I don't know where Breath of the Wild is. Let me just look up with Google Images here. Maybe it's here? Where's Breath of the Wild? Maybe it's here? No, that's not there. Maybe here? What the hell is this? Wait, what is this? Google Lens? I don't even know what the hell that is. I know people are debating about it, so I have no idea. So I'm guessing it's the latest one, but I don't know. I don't know. Apparently there's this line from Zelda in Breath of the Wild where she says, "Whether skyward bound, adrift in time, or steeped in the glowing embers of twilight, the sacred blade is forever bound to the soul of the hero." So I'm guessing Twilight Princess was at one point part of the... One point happened before Breath of the Wild. So I guess Breath of the Wild goes after Twilight Princess? And Skyward Sword, obviously. But I don't know. I'm guessing Nintendo... I don't think Nintendo even wants to talk about it. That's what people have been saying anyway. Oh, you sent it to me on Discord? Let me open up Discord then. I can't even... Okay, so apparently it does take place after Twilight Princess, as I figured. Then there's apparently a split where, like, there's a split that results in Breath of the Wild and Age of Calamity. And then after Breath of the Wild, there'll be Breath of the Wild 2. So I guess that makes sense. Anyway. But yeah, like, wow, I just... Let me go back to this and close out all of this. But yeah, so I forgot to add that. Skyward Sword should now give Link a green hat. That was the Minish Cap's job. But anyway. Let's see. Any other positives? The gameplay, I can't really comment on that, fam, because like we already talked about how bad it was. But I liked the sword play. No, not the sword play. Sorry, the dungeons. I like the dungeons. The dungeons were nice. I like the Ancient Cistern. That one was pretty fun. I liked that one. I also liked the very last dungeon. I forgot what it was called, but it's the one that where you can move around all the rooms in the area like a puzzle. I like that one. I also liked the temple the second temple in the Lanayru Desert. That one was fun. I like all the temples, but some I liked more than others. So I like the dungeons. The dungeons were pretty fun. There were only 7 of them, which is still a good number. Like that's more than what 4 in Majora's Mask and 5 in Wind Waker. I think Twilight Princess had like 8, same as Ocarina of Time, I think. But yeah. But yeah, the dungeons were nice. Anything else? There aren't going to be very many positives, are there? I'm trying to think. Yeah, that is true. You can distract the demise with the butterfly net. Like, just like how you can distract Ganondorf with a fishing pole in a fishing rod in Twilight Princess. Did I try to do it during the Twilight Princess stream? I can't remember. But yeah. Is there anything else I liked about the game? I'm trying to think. So let's see. Story, gameplay, music, graphics. I think those are all the positives I can think of. Again, I did enjoy Skyward Sword for the Switch, but I'm not going to pretend that it didn't have issues. Same with Twilight Princess. Although I ripped on Twilight Princess a lot harder than I intended to. I did not mean to rip into it that hard. I was like, okay, I'll just probably like have only like 7. As I said earlier, I thought that I would have only like 7 negatives. No, I had double that number. Just God damn it. But yeah, I think that's it for positives. But yeah, Skyward Sword, it's... I wouldn't even call it polarizing. Twilight Princess was polarizing. Skyward Sword was just universally slammed. Like, seriously. So Skyward Sword was... I enjoyed the Switch version. I would have hated the Wii version. That's probably another negative I need to talk about. Well, I already talked about it, so I'll just like list it here. The Wii version was crap, just like in Twilight Princess. Yep. But we already talked about that. I just wanted to include it. Okay. But yeah, I can't think of any other positives and negatives. Okay, so yeah, Skyward Sword, I enjoyed it, but it had issues. Same with Twilight Princess. They're both mixed bags. And honestly, to me, which one do I like more? I don't know. I don't know. Twilight Princess is technically the better game. But I think I don't know, I think I had more fun playing. I think I might have had more fun. I don't know, to me, I had about equal amount of fun playing both games. Twilight Princess on the GameCube and Skyward Sword on the Switch, I mean. Not the god-awful Wii versions. So, I don't know. Which one did I have more fun playing? Which one do I like more? I don't know. So, maybe... It's hard to say, because I like both a lot. No, it's okay, Scott. Yeah, I know Eagle Raptor really does not like Skyward Sword. He outright hates Skyward Sword. Here, let me see if I can... He just hates it. He hates Skyward Sword. Ego Raptor, aka Aaron from Game Grumps. He hates Skyward Sword. He hates it. Oh my god. Let's listen to it, because it's just so funny.
There is no mystery in modern Zelda games. Hey man, I'm mysterious. God, shut up!
Wait, I need to use headphones because, like, you guys aren't going to be able to. You guys aren't going to be able to hear this well with if I don't plug in the headphones. So hang on. Oh damn. Okay, hang on. Let me fix this. Okay. Okay. So now let's retry this.
There is no mystery in modern Zelda games. Hey man, I'm mysterious. God, shut up! Seriously! You want all this attention like you care. Like you really gave it your all in a new innovative Zelda experience. But instead you led Zelda into a frustrating monotony. You know, what started the franchise was like the sense of wonder, and what has thus far concluded the franchise is a sense of formality. A predictable, time-consuming mess that asks you not of your sense of adventure, or even your wits, but instead your ability to listen and follow directions. You ask of us our ability to point something at something else and then walk towards it. You ask of us our willingness to get another bow and arrow, fight another boss with another giant glowing eyeball. Gee, I wonder how to fucking beat it. I fucking wonder, Skyward Sword. You ask of us to get a cat from the top of a roof and carry him over to some guy who says thank you. The Adventures of Link, Cat Delivery Man. Is that your title? What's the tagline in the ads? Cat's out of the bag and onto the roof. 10 out of 10. No Wiimote motion issues here that could possibly cripple the entire experience. Best in the series. You're like a spoiled rich kid who gets everything bought for you your entire life. And then when it comes to making it on your own, you can't take it. You expect everyone to love you because you are who you are, part of the illustrious Zelda lineage. Nothing could possibly be wrong with you. You look just like a Zelda. But you're not one. You're a pampered, doughy snob wearing nice clothes, expecting to graduate scot-free because your daddy's an alum. Why would you need to improve? Why would you need to get any better? Everyone just agrees with your shitty ideas because you're a Zelda. Fuck you, Skyward Sword. Fuck you!
Oh, damn. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Oh my God. Damn. God damn. He just ripped right into that. But yeah, I enjoyed Skyward Sword actually, but yeah, it has problems. I think I like Twilight Princess more. Yeah, I think I like Twilight Princess more, but I liked Skyward Sword too. The HD version, not the original. Anyway, let's get on to Breath of the Wild. Yeah, it's like, yeah, he went really hard on Skyward Sword. Hang on. Oh my God. Oops. Oh my God. Damn. Skip ahead here. Skyward Sword. Well, whatever. Yeah, anyway. Sorry, I was just checking the playback. Anyway, I unplugged my headphones. But anyway, let's talk about Breath of the Wild. Yeah, he went really hard on Skyward Sword. He hated that shit. I don't blame him. If he played the Switch version, he'd probably have a better time with it. Not by a whole lot, but he probably wouldn't have been that hard on it. I don't talk about the bosses much, do I, in the Zelda games. The Zelda games generally have good bosses, although there are some that suck. Skyward Sword had overall good bosses. Oh! I forgot to mention, another problem I found with Skyward Sword. The negatives. Some boss battles are repeated. And it's annoying. It's annoying as hell. Like, the imprisoned fight. You fight it 3 times. Why? Just why? Like, why? Like, why? Why is this game so insistent on repeating things? I just, like, why? Why do I have to fight this thing 3 times? Like, I was fine with it the first 2 times, but then the third, but when the third battle came around, I was just like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this boss fight. Can we do something else? Like, did Nintendo not have any other ideas for boss fights? I'm just like, God, why do I have to keep playing this boss fight? It's annoying. I don't know. You fight Girahim twice, by the way, but that I didn't really mind so much. Actually, no, you fight him 3 times. Never mind. But at least, I mean, you fight him 3 times, but I actually had more fun with him, so I didn't mind it too much. But yeah, we shouldn't have had to fight him that many times either. Just stop repeating your boss battles, please. But yeah, okay, Breath of the Wild. So, Breath of the Wild is basically Skyward Sword, but not shit. As my friend Maple says. That's what Breath of the Wild is. It's basically Skyward Sword, but not shit. And I know this because Breath of the Wild brought back quite a number of mechanics that Skyward Sword introduced, while taking out all the other crap that didn't work, like the motion controls. Like, for example, the stamina wheel from Skyward Sword, they brought that back in Breath of the Wild, and you can actually upgrade it. And that's something that you definitely want to do if you're a seasoned player at the game, because that means you can run faster, climb, and glide for longer periods of time, I should say. So, yeah. And they also brought back the ability to catch arrows with your shield and reuse them. With certain shields, anyway. So yeah, Skyward Sword was it basically laid out the foundation for some of the ideas for Breath of the Wild. And there are probably more things that Skyward Sword had that Breath of the Wild took, but I'm not gonna bother listing every single one of them. You get the idea. So Breath of the Wild is basically just a better Skyward Sword. So let me go ahead and try not to... Oh, good, Maple. Yes, you're here again. Well, you probably have been here the whole time. You just, you just probably didn't feel like talking. That's fine. I don't, not everyone's gonna be talking constantly in the chat. Oh, hey, Tan Man. But yeah, Breath of the Wild is basically just a better version of Skyward Sword. So, are there positives? Well, there are plenty of positives. Although, what Tan said in the chat about, playing a bit of the game and then giving up, I feel the same way, and I'll explain why. But later. Let me talk about the positives first, because Breath of the Wild doesn't deserve to have its negatives talked about first, unlike the other 2 games in this Rantstream. So, the positives. Well, the game stops holding your hand for once, unlike Skyward Sword, which kept holding your hand the entire way. Breath of the Wild, the game does not hold your hand, and lets you explore things on your own, which is good because people like having freedom in a game. They don't like being given help unless they ask for it. So Breath of the Wild definitely did that well. The game does give you general ideas of what to do, but it lets you, do things at your own pace and in whatever order you want. So the game is basically very, very important. The game basically emphasizes the importance of giving the player freedom, and it does that well. So you can pretty much do whatever you want. I Oh, you're liking it so far, Maple? That's good. So, another thing that's great about the game is that the world looks beautiful. I love how it looks. I really like this art style. It's probably my favorite art style, along with Wind Waker's. Like, everything is just so breathtaking. Like, it feels almost realistic in a sense. Like, you can really feel the difference in the environments. You can really feel when places are hot or cloudy or rainy or stuff like that. It truly does feel like a world. Like it's just, I just love it. I just love how the world looks. I love the graphics, the art style. I love the Breath of the Wild. It's just such a good looking game. It's such a good looking game. So the graphics and art style are great. Anything else? The gameplay is great. I actually like that the gameplay brought. I actually like that the gameplay changed up some things. So you no longer have to use motion controls. Yay! And also, you actually have a jump button this time. And a run button. So that's cool. And another cool thing is that, you can have different types of swords and shields with differing levels of durability and strength. I thought that was a pretty cool feature as well, because it places more importance on inventory management, because you can't carry everything you grab. So having to switch between different types of swords for different situations was a pretty cool thing. The same with shields. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? Sorry. My PC. I've taken it to the technician multiple times. I'm about ready to give up on it. I'm gonna try to see if I can I don't know. I'm just tired of it. It's frustrating me. And I literally just started school, and I can't keep having my PC do this to me, because I'm taking online classes. So having a PC do this shit when I'm taking an online exam, that's going to be really bad. So I definitely need to get this computer fixed as soon as possible. But I don't know at this point. But anyway. But yeah, I like the gameplay. As I was saying, I like how you can run and jump, and you can glide with the paraglider. I didn't mention that part, but yeah, you can. Well, I kind of mentioned it. And I also like how how the game encourages you to use different weapons for different situations, because they all have different levels of strength and durability. Taman in the chat said he wasn't a fan of weapon durability, and I understand that. In fact, it turned me off when I first started playing the game, but I quickly got used to it. So, but it's fair. Like, not everyone likes it. And to be fair, like, in previous Zelda games, for the most part, you didn't really have breakable weapons, or breakable shields for that matter. Yeah, your shields can break too. So, yeah, I can see why some people would be turned off by that. And why they would be turned off by stuff like that in general. Because that would just mean that you'd have to go and look for another sword, which isn't always possible, or another shield, for that matter. But I personally didn't mind it, because I find a lot of swords and shields in that game anyway. Or just weapons in general. Like, not everything you get is a sword. Sometimes you might get a club. But, yeah. But, anyway. But yeah, the game's great. And I also liked aiming with the bow. You can use it with the gyroscope, but you don't have to. Yeah, I really do like the game. Like, it's like the gameplay anyway. But there's one thing that just turns me off from playing it, but I'll get to that in a moment. I can't really comment on the music because I don't really remember much of it other than that little theme that plays when you load a game. because there really isn't a lot of music in the game anyway. I don't think there is, so it's not something I can really comment on very much. So I guess I'm just not gonna comment on that. But I do like the gameplay. It's definitely fun. I like all the different things they did with it. Although there are some changes that people are not really going to like, and that's fair. Yeah, it's just mostly ambient music, pretty much. Yeah, I haven't played a lot of the game, but like, yeah, for the most part, it's just ambient music. I like the battle music though. I can't exactly like I don't remember. I think I remember only like one track, but yeah, it's just mostly ambient music, which is fine. Like, it works, but it's not a soundtrack that I'm going to remember too well anytime soon. And I just thought of another problem with Skyward Sword. Another problem regarding Fi as a character. But I'll mention that later. I just need to remind myself. But yeah, I do like the gameplay. But there's one thing that I don't like about it. I think I've covered all the positives though. I guess I like the puzzles in this game. Like, there are certain areas where shrines where I think there are 120 shrines, somewhere around that number, and you know, you beat them, and then you get like upgrades to your health or stamina. I think, like, you get a spirit orb, which you can use at certain areas of the game to improve your health or stamina, which is also a pretty interesting feature. Although, if you really want to make any sort of progress in the game, you have no choice but to visit some of these areas, because you'll have low health. You'll have low health and stamina otherwise. But yeah, I like the shrines. They were fun. Some of them made you think, but they were fun. Yeah, some of them were tricky. Plenty of them were easy. Some of them were tricky, but they were pretty fun. They were pretty good puzzles. Anything else? See, I haven't played much of the game, but I really didn't feel like, playing the entire game first before having a rant stream, or even playing the entire game first before like streaming any of it. I did do like a test stream once, and that was it. And it was a fun test stream, but yeah. See, there's one thing that there's one thing that turns me off from playing this game any further. Honestly, I just think it's too damn big. I'm sorry, I just don't like how big it is. I just think it's too damn big. I just don't like it. I know this is subjective. Don't get me wrong, this is subjective. But I don't like how big the world is. I just don't... Oh, wait. Sorry. I just don't like how big the world is. Like, it's to me, it just feels like... It feels like Nintendo made this game too big. Like, there are so many things to do. Fortunately, you can actually just... you actually don't have to... There's not a lot of filler. So you can just... So once you like do all the main stuff, getting the Guardians on your side, then you can just go to the boss. At least I'm assuming that's how it works, because I have not played that far into the game, so... But, to me, I just found the world too big, and at times even overwhelming. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. I kind of like when Zelda games were smaller and more compact. I didn't like that they made Breath of the Wild so fucking huge. And that's part of the reason why I got bored with it, because because like the last time, like where I stopped was when you had to get, you know, shock arrows to, like I was going to my first guardian. You could do the guardians in any order. I was going to the first guardian for the Zora domain, like I had just collected a bunch of shock arrows after fighting this mini boss on top of a mountain, which took me quite a while to do because he was just frustrating, but I did it. And I got like 50 shock arrows. I got a shit ton of them, and I'm like, okay, I have the shock arrows I need. Now I can go to the guardian and fight him and then get him on my side, or her, whatever. But like that's literally where I stopped. I was like, I don't feel like playing this anymore. I'm sorry, I just got bored with the game. Like, it's the size was just the reason I got bored. I just, like, I did put in quite a bit of time in the game, but at one point I was just bored with it. I was struggling to actually find reasons to play it. I was like, I could play this, but I'd rather do something else. You know, I just know. Wow, we stopped around the same point, actually. Wow, okay! So it's not just me! Right? Like, that's just the point where it's like... I didn't even get a chance to defeat the first guardian. Like so far I haven't gotten the chance because like I mean I could have, but at the same time, you know, I didn't play the game after that point. I was just like, okay, let me stop here, and I didn't play it after that point. I feel like the game just I just got bored with it. At first I was excited about playing it, but the more I played it, the more I got bored. Yeah, exactly, and it just takes forever to get to one area. That's one thing I didn't like. And plus, you can't always, like, unlike in previous games, you can't really call your horse from anywhere. Unfortunately, at least I don't think you can. I haven't played very far into the game, so maybe there's a way to do it eventually. But when I was last playing it, I couldn't call my horse. I couldn't call my horse from anywhere I wanted, so I literally had to keep track of that thing all the time, which was more trouble than it was worth. Especially when certain areas weren't very horse friendly, and it was just like, I'm like, it just takes forever to get from one area to the other, even when you're riding a horse. I'm sorry, I gave the game a shot. It's not bad. It's a very good game. I just don't like it. I don't like it. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't strongly dislike it. I just don't like it. It's just the size of the world that gets me. Like, and I wasn't even trying to do all the side quests, just some of them. I did some of them, and they were fun for the most part. But I just couldn't get through the whole game. I'm sorry, I just couldn't. I was like, this is just like draining me. The world's too big, and at this point, I'm just tired of playing. So my reasons for not playing anymore are basically the same as Tan Man's. We both just didn't like how big the world was. It took forever to get from area to area, even on horseback. And just when we were about to fight our first guardian, we stopped. so it's like wow. So so far I have not played. I have not even done the first guardian battle. And again, I don't really like the fact that if you don't go to enough shrines, you won't be strong enough to fight the final boss, or even some of the bosses beforehand. Whereas in the Zelda series, like you didn't really have to do that many side quests to get your health up, to increase your health over time. Although doing them definitely helped. Like, you could just get away with just doing the main stuff, and the game would gradually make you stronger. But here, with Breath of the Wild, you have to go out of your way to do that shit. And it makes the game harder in a sense, and also gives you a sense of progression. But at the same time, I just kind of don't feel. I just don't like that system. I just don't. I probably enjoy Sonic Frontiers more than Breath of the Wild, in my opinion. I'd probably feel the same way. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan of Breath of the Wild. It's a good game. I had some fun with it, but it's so big that I just find that it takes too long to do anything. So I just went to beat the whole story. I mean, I just gave up on it just before I was about to fight my first guardian. So sorry, it's just not my cup of tea. And I don't see myself playing it, let alone streaming it. I'm definitely not going to stream that. I'm definitely going to play it. If I ever do stream it, I'll play it first, just to make sure, like, just to make sure I know exactly what I should do. Like, just to take the shortest path to the end. So I will do that. If I ever decide to stream the game, which I probably won't. I'm sorry. Even the game's just too big, even if you know what you're doing. So it was just a turn off for me. But I think that's probably the only big negative I can think of. I'm sure there are others who could think of more. But for me, that's just the only big negative I can think of. It's just the world is just too big for my liking. If they had scaled it down quite a bit, I would have enjoyed it more. But it just feels so massive and overwhelming, and I'm just like, no, I can't play this anymore. And yeah, I know the game has fast travel, but even with that, it still takes too long to go anywhere. And if you want to 100% the game, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't 100% this game. There's just too much shit to do. Don't do it. Just don't fucking do it. There's just too much to do. Like, you have to get all 120... Oh, shit. I hit something. But anyway, you have to get all 120 shrines, all 900 Korok seeds, like, all that shit. I don't have the time for that shit. I don't think anyone does. Like, there are some people who have probably already done it. I'm not going to do it. Just forget it. Even completing the main game itself is too much for me. So I just gave up on Breath of the Wild. Hopefully they'll make the second one smaller in scale. Because honestly, I think they just made this one too big. But that's just me. So yeah. I think that's all I can say about Breath of the Wild regarding the negatives. It's a good game, but it's a bit too big for my tastes. I really wish Nintendo had scaled down the size of the game. They didn't need to make it as big as they did. But hey, I mean, people love to explore in video games, so you definitely won't get bored exploring things. I did like exploring areas in the game, don't get me wrong. But at some point I was just like, this game is too big, it takes too long to get to different areas, I'm just getting tired, I'm going to stop playing. And I didn't even bother like waiting until finishing the first Guardian battle to to stop playing. I was just like, no, I'm just gonna stop playing right now, because that mini boss I had to deal with was just frustrating as hell. And I tried to bring food, and I've been trying to I tried to bring the best food, the best gear I had. I guess I was just really underpowered, so I just struggled for the most part, but I managed to do it eventually. But still, even with that, even if you push that aside, the game's just, I just didn't like how big the game was, so I gave up. I know, it's subjective. Some people don't mind. I'm sorry, some people don't mind how big the world is. I know it's subjective. I don't like it, but I know that there are some people that do. So I acknowledge that this is subjective. I know some people love how big the game is because there's just so much to explore. Like, even the tiniest spots on the map can have some significance. And it really does make you feel like you're on a huge adventure. But it's just not for me. It's not my cup of tea. This is a game that I'm not really going to be streaming or recording anytime soon, let alone playing on my own time. Just no. Just no. Because even the main campaign is lengthy. Although I will acknowledge that, and let me put this as a positive. The game has no filler bullshit. So you can go through the go to the boss early enough. Once you have everything you need, you can just go right to the boss. You don't need to do any other side quests to do something pointless like collecting letters for a book or collecting pieces of a song or shit like that. The game is very straightforward. So as soon as you've got everything you need to go fight Ganon, you can go and do it. But even then, the game's campaign is lengthy. But still, I will give the game credit for not having full of bullshit like Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword did. So there's that. So yeah, the game's very good. I just don't like it. It's good. I just don't like it. So, yeah. But that's just me. If you like how big the game is, great. Good for you. I'm happy. But it's just not for me. So that's all I can say about Breath of the Wild. I did have fun. I did have some fun with it while it lasted, but yeah, I don't see myself playing that game anytime soon. Okay, I forgot. There's one more thing I wanted to mention about the negatives in Skyward Sword. The game wants you to think that Fi had development. Like at the end of the story, she's like she expressed basically no emotion throughout the entire story, but at the end she's like, "Oh Link, I'm gonna miss you. I had a lot of fun with you," and I'm like, that's not good writing. Because Fi showed no signs of character development like that earlier in the game. So having her show emotion like that at the end, no, there has to be a build up for that to actually mean something. But since there was no build up to it, the audience has no reason to believe it, and they certainly have no reason to care. So Fi's character could have been developed, but wasn't. I'm sorry, but I really don't. I see this writing mistake in a lot of stories where like there's some development, but the character shows no signs of working towards it, and I'm just like, that's lazy storytelling. Don't do it. It's annoying to see. Stop doing that. So that's just another thing I wanted to bring up regarding Skyward Sword. But back to Breath of the Wild. So what's your favorite Zelda game then? Oh, I said, actually I don't think I mentioned it yet. That's hard to say. I guess Ocarina of Time. That would be my favorite. Yeah, Ocarina of Time. That's definitely my favorite. I love it so much. So yeah, I love Ocarina of Time. My least favorite would probably be Skyward Sword? No, Breath of the Wild, actually. Sorry, Breath of the Wild. But that's not to say that Breath of the Wild is bad. It's not. It's arguably the best 3D Zelda game so far, actually. In terms of polish and overall gameplay, I'd say it's the best one. Like, it has fewer kinks in it than Ocarina of Time does. Ocarina of Time had a few kinks in it, but to be fair, it was the first 3D Zelda game, so what do you expect? But yeah, I'd say Breath of the Wild is technically the best one, but it's my least favorite. And then Skyward Sword would be my second least favorite, but again, I liked it, so that's not to say the Skyward Sword, like, I dislike Skyward Sword, it's just that it's not one of my favorites. I liked it, but it's not one of my favorites. So, but Ocarina of Time is definitely my favorite. And Breath of the Wild is my least favorite. So here's my subjective ranking for the games. Let me create another slide. Okay. My personal ranking of the games. So, Breath of the Wild. Oh, shoot. So it'll be Ocarina of Time. Then I guess Wind Waker. Some people don't like Wind Waker. I actually liked it. And then Majora's Mask. Actually, let me put Twilight Princess over Majora's Mask actually. And then Skyward Sword. And then Breath of the Wild. Okay, that's my personal ranking of these games. So yes, I like Twilight Princess more than Majora's Mask. Again, that's not to say that Majora's Mask is bad. It's not. But that's my personal ranking for all these games. Now, the ratings... So let me add a conclusion slide. Okay, so... Comments... I had fun with all of the games. Skyward Sword is the weakest 3D Zelda game. I'm sorry, but technically it's just the weakest. Sorry. And I think that's all I can say. Okay, so now let's do the ratings. My rating for Ocarina of Time would be a 9 out of 10. Majora's Mask. Probably do like 7.5 out of 10. Wind Waker. Wind Waker. So, you know, let me give an 8 out of 10 for Majora. Wind Waker, probably a 7 out of 10. Twilight Princess, uh, 6.5 out of 10. Skyward Sword, if I'm talking about the Wii version, it would be a 5 out of 10. But for the Switch version, it would be a 6 out of 10. Okay, and then Breath of the Wild. I'm trying to be objective here. So I'd say it's a 9 out of 10. I don't like it, but it's a very good game. Let me do it like 8.5 for Ocarina of Time, actually. Breath of the Wild can be 9. Okay, so those are my personal rankings for the games. Ratings, sorry. Well, whatever. Ocarina of Time, 8.5 out of 10. Majora's Mask, 8 out of 10. Wind Waker, 7 out of 10. Twilight Princess, 6.5 out of 10. Skyward Sword, 6 out of 10. Breath of the Wild, 9 out of 10. And yeah, I can't comment on... Let me say Skyward Sword HD, because that's the one I played. Twilight Princess for the GameCube as well. If I were to rate Twilight Princess for the Wii, it would be like a 5 out of 10. Just like Skyward Sword for the Wii. Actually, Skyward Sword for the Wii would be like a 4 out of 10, now that I think about it. But, yeah. That is how I feel. Let me fix these as well, because I've never played the 3D remakes of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Wind Waker NGC. I've never played the HD remaster. So these are the games I played. Okay. Did you seriously have Breath of the Wild ranked lower than SS? Yes. I'm sorry, but I like playing Skyward Sword more. But again, it was a subjective ranking. Like, it was meant like it was. I ranked them in terms of games I liked the most. So yes, I actually did like playing Skyward Sword more than Breath of the Wild, surprisingly. At least the HD version. I'm sorry, but Breath of the Wild was just a huge turnoff for me. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. That's even worse than when you rated Spider-Man 3 and Amazing movies over Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like Spider-Man 2 is a great film, but I just like the others more. I'm sorry. I was just thinking of that too. You might think I have weird taste, and you could be right. But that's just how I feel. And I know it's subjective because Spider-Man 2 is better than all the other movies you mentioned. And just as Breath of the Wild is better than Skyward Sword. But I prefer Skyward Sword. The HD version, anyway. I'm sorry, but I just do. Breath of the Wild is just a turn-off for me. I'm sorry. But yeah, overall I did enjoy these games, some more than others, but I do like most of the Zelda games. So I will say that overall these games aren't bad. I say that overall they're good, but overall, except for Skyward Sword, that one, no. But everything else is fine. Well, depending on the version. So if you play, like, the Wii version of Twilight Princess, don't. If you play Skyward Sword on the Wii, don't. But if you play Twilight Princess for the GameCube or for the Wii U, or if you play Skyward Sword for the Switch, then you'll have a better time with those games. So the games are overall good, but some are better than others. That's one of the few times I can say that an opinion is wrong. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. But yeah, that's the froze again. I'd give Breath of the Wild an 8 out of 10. That's fair. Maybe an 8, maybe a 9 out of 10 is a little too high. I don't know. Like, to me, I can't really think of any like technical flaws with the game. I think the game is pretty good. Like, I can't really find anything that is very bad about it. But can y'all hear me now? Sorry, like, I need to hurry and finish this before my computer dies again. But I fucking hate this thing. I think I'm gonna stop doing streams until I can get this thing fixed once and for all, because I'm just getting tired of this. But this is okay. I was gonna stop doing the rant streams for a while anyway. But yeah, like, Breath of the Wild will just be a 9 out of 10 for me. Very good game. Not like, it's technically very sound, very polished. It's just not my cup of tea. I just don't like how big it is. Yeah, exactly. As Sandman said, Breath of the Wild is still good. It's just not something I'd continue. Okay. But Maple rates it a 9.5, which is also a fair rating. I don't think anything less than an 8 would be fair, so Breath of the Wild deserves at least an 8. But anyway. Oh, you're going to watch the extended version of No Way Home in theaters tomorrow? I heard about that. I actually heard about that, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. But have fun with that. I don't plan on streaming anything tomorrow anyway. But yeah. Oh, wait, let me also add this. just adding some general comments to the conclusion. So Breath of the Wild is a better Skyward Sword than the original. Twilight Princess is Ocarina of Time 2.0 with basically no identity of its own. Yeah. Skyward Sword is the weakest 3D Zelda game. I still had fun with it though. And I had fun with all the games, so yeah. Anyway, I think that is going to be it for now. So, the end! Yay! We're at the end of this rant stream. I don't think I have anything else to add. I really tore into Twilight Princess though. I wasn't intending to. I'm not gonna lie. I really wasn't intending to rip into the game that much. I thought I would rip more into Skyward Sword, but I was wrong. I was so wrong. I didn't think Twilight Princess would piss me off that much. It's like, I like the game, but at the same time, these issues just, they frustrated me. Good thing I didn't play the Wii version of Skyward Sword, or else I would have been a lot harsher on the game. Like, a lot harsher. But, yeah, I would not continue Breath of the Wild, even as a stream or Let's Play. Or even something I do on my own time. Just no. Or something I'd record. Just no. I would not touch it, regardless of whether or not I record or stream the game. I just would not play it again. I might go back at one point and like take care of the first Guardian and just out of curiosity, and then never touch it again. I'd rather just watch a playthrough of Breath of the Wild. And even then, that would be a chore. For me, anyway. It would feel like a chore. So, yeah. But anyway, that's the end of this rant stream. Hope you all had fun tearing into these games and praising them as well. Like me. It's really Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword that I had the most complaints about. All the others, not so much. Wind Waker I had some complaints about, but not to the extent of, say, Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. With Skyward Sword just basically being the lowest point of the 3D Zelda franchise. Let's see, am I missing anything here? I technically did point that out earlier, but I wanted to have it written down. Yeah, Majora's Mask has a save system where if you reset to the first day to save, you lose your rupees and bombs and Deku sticks and shit. And the game doesn't warn you about that, which is stupid. My bad. Oh, sorry. No, that is correct. Resets. That resets. This is a noun. Sorry. And the game doesn't warn you that resets remove your consumable items. Yeah, they do. Anyway. That's the end of that. Can't wait for the next Zelda game, aka Sonic Frontiers, basically. And if anyone wants to read the latest article I posted on my blog about Frontiers, I have that under promote myself on Cheese Discord. Yeah. Check out, I really should put a link to my Discord server at one point. I think I'll do it on my channel, because I'm surprised I haven't done it already. But I think I haven't done it, I don't remember. But yeah, check out Maple's blog as well. And just check out my friends in general. Check out their channels and blogs and stuff. Blue Wolf, Tanman 2001, The Blue Typhoon 17, he's a good artist. Maple, Places Maple 7. Like, check out his stuff. So, check out that stuff. But yeah, I think I'm gonna take a break from rant streams for now. I did want to do rant streams about a few other movies I watched. I wanted to do a rant stream about the 2 Sing movies and the 2 The Secret Life of Pets movies. Spoiler alert, they all suck. That's all I'm going to say. But it's Illumination Pictures, what do you expect? And I was also going to do a rant stream on Megamind, the B movie, Over the Hedge, and Flushed Away. All DreamWorks titles. Because I actually watched Megamind today, and it was really funny. I liked it a lot. But I guess, those will have to wait because my laptop is just pissing me off. But anyway, let's see. And my ball team just had the ugliest and most undeserving win of the year so far. They didn't get a single hit with runner in scoring positions, but still won their game. We had no business winning that game, but hey, a win is a win, right? Like, you take what you can get, right? A win is a win. If we win, we win. Right? It's like you suck, but you win anyway. Okay. I'll take it. But, yeah, I guess that'll be it for the rant stream. But thank you all so much for being here. That was really fun. But yeah, Maple, you have fun watching that game. Watching the movie tomorrow, the extended version of No Way Home. Have fun with that. But yeah, I think I'll stop with the rant streams for a while. I'll definitely still make the presentations for them so that I don't end up forgetting what I've watched, but yeah, I'll probably have to hold off on those until next week. But anyway, yeah, that's all I have too. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Your comments were definitely an important part of the discussion, because there are some points I would not have brought up if it hadn't been for you guys. And it was fun talking with you guys about this as well. We had a field day tearing into Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess. Damn. Oof. But, yeah, that'll be it for now. Let me go ahead and end the stream before my computer, has another, bitch fit. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I am TrueMiller15, and I will see you guys next time. So until then, deuces and goodbye.